Hey, Beaker, what's up, man? I need you to take off your hat for a minute, please.
Why is that?
Because we're going to pay homage to Canada right now. And it's probably a national holiday.
You have a hat on. Why should I take my hat on?
Well, I'm taking mine off right now. There we go. Take your hat off. That is a tribute to Ty Tessman and the amazing performance that he had at PNB this past weekend, bouncing back from an abysmal DNC, coming back out swinging. Shout out to all the Canadian fans that listen to this. I know right now all of Canada's like really happy. My buddy Devin Pade, he's AKA Black Dolphin. He's been buzzing me ever since talking about Ty. He's like Ty Tessman's #1 fan. So congratulations to Ty Tessman, Canada's favorite RC son. And yeah, I think maybe it might be a national holiday in Canada now for that. But anyway, you know what? We're going to talk about that and much more in this podcast, Joseph. And it's great to have you back, but it's time to drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 121 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. Let me get my Beach RC's hat on straight. And man, we have a lot to talk about this week. PNB happened, Ty Tessman won, Joseph's back. Lots to talk about. But before we go on any further, I'd like to shout out and say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world, man. We can't do it without you guys. The Facebook is growing almost at 3,700 likes. Let's make that go to 4,000. So I appreciate that support. Follow us on IG as well. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. That's steadily growing and we're putting more content up there as well. Shout out to all the patrons of the NNRC. Without you guys, none of this is possible as well. You guys help keep these bills paid, and I greatly appreciate the support. If you wish to become a patron, the link is in the written description of this podcast. And of course, we have some very awesome companies that sponsor us, and it's really exciting. We're growing. They're growing with us. But first off, making the most news this week is Mayako. And Mayako has this to say: with over 50% of prototypes sold in the first 20 hours, we would like to thank all of the Mayako Performance community members for the support and for believing in this project. For more information about the new buggy and membership, head over to mayako.com. definitely creating a lot of buzz. We're going to talk about that with Joseph. So thank you to Mayako for their support. Shout out to TNR Fuels, Chris and those guys. They were at PNB. Man, he's going everywhere. Good dude. Remember, TNR Fuels is fuel made by racers for racers. So check them out at tnrfuels.com. Our newest associate sponsor, High Tech RCD. We're super happy to have High Tech on board. They've been in the industry for many, many years. I myself used to run their servers way back in the day, but they're back in racing. And this is what they had to say. Since 1983, High Tech RCD has been an industry leader in engineering, manufacturing, radio control systems, servos, and telemetry components. Our team of top engineers have researched and developed the most superior servo technologies in order to bring the highest level of performance and reliability to your hobby. Along with High Tech's rock-solid reputation for high-quality products, including an extensive charging line, we have a dedicated customer service team available for your constant support. Trust in High Tech, your servo and charger headquarters. Check out their new RDX2 Pro charger and, of course, their HSB 9381TH servos. It's really awesome, actually. Really, really awesome. They are available at A Main Harbors, HRP, Max Products, Motion RC, Robot Shop, Servo City, and Tower Hobbies. So, also we have on deck is, to continue our sponsor line, we'd like to shout out to Beach RC, who has been a long-time supporter of the podcast. Beach RC was at PNB. We have an affiliate link. They are also the sponsor of the bench racing segment. So if you want to support Beach RC, please use our affiliate link in the written description of this podcast. Shout out to Tekno RC. Tekno had a great weekend at PNB, won the long jump competition. Tyler Jones in second. Awesome weekend for them. Been a long time supporter, and thank you. Sun City RC Raceway, Joey Showers, Christian and Corbin, doing big things over there in SCRC. They have Border Wars coming up. If you're in the El Paso area, go check them out. Our new sponsor, Lugz RC Racing Tires. They also were at PNB. Check them out. Use the promo code, go to lugsracing.com and use promo code NNRC Lugz in all caps and save 30% off your order. Manscaped.com as well. Still on the podcast. Really liking that. We got a message from them here later on. Pop Willie's Traction Tonic. Long-time supporter of the podcast. If you're lacking traction, go check them out. You'll find it with their traction compound. Racecraft USA. Chasing the guys. Really cool guys. Glad to have them on board. Really appreciative. Of course, Wally Builds. Wally will be on next week. I think he's going on to a desert race this week, so we can't do a live. RCGP. Remember, RCGP is saying no to racism, and we all should. So, yeah, we stand behind that. And House of RC and JQ Threads. So, with all that said, I would also like to say thank you to our guest this week, who is Jack Barker. We venture out into a whole different genre altogether of battle bots. I found it very interesting. He actually does race some touring car as well. So it was a great talk with him. Keep an open mind because, man, this battle bot stuff's on TV and we ain't. So they're doing something right. With that said, let me get Beak up in her because it's been a while since it's been on her. So let's see what it's been up to. Beaker.
Yeah.
What's up, dude? The snow is melting. Summer is in the air. Woo! That means RC racing for you, or at least testing.
Well, we don't have a track now, so.
Anywhere in Finland, or just close by you?
Well, there are a couple potential ones about an hour away. I have never been to either one, so maybe in a couple of weeks they'll be open.
So, are they going to rebuild the track, or because I remember they were moving it, correct?
Yeah, hopefully this summer we'll get a new one.
Awesome. Well, that's something for you to do because it doesn't look like you're going anywhere anytime soon. With that said, it looks like all the Euros have been canceled as well, unfortunately. So,
well, up until the Nitro Euros, they are still scheduled for July, but I would assume that they will have to move them also.
You have also had a busy week. Mayako dropped a good video last week, and obviously the shop opened up. I think we'll talk about that a little bit more in the Manscaped news when we come up with that. But I want to tell otherwise than what you've been doing, what have you been up to? Like, have you been getting out? What's going on in Finland?
I've been just really busy working on everything. So the book is being translated now, actually. I'll show you here.
I think you almost sold 1,000 copies, didn't you?
Yeah, I think a bit over now because we are translating it. So Fabrizio Tegesi in Italy, he has his YouTube channel, and he actually translated the book. So in a few weeks, it will be available in Italian.
Awesome.
So that's his YouTube channel, just his name.
What's his name? So we can.
Fabrizio Tegesi.
Okay, so Fabrizio Tegesi.
You can see his YouTube channel name there, maybe.
I see it.
And then what else? Yeah, the whole Mayako web shop, finishing that, the sort of marketing, branding, everything that's needed basically for the release of a new brand. And it went pretty well, so not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in the RC news. Something I was gonna say to you. Oh man, I can't remember. Something I was gonna ask you. So I've been busy. It's been busy for me. I'm planning my trip here shortly to America. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I'm excited to go. Excited to get back to America. And rumor with the Ghani, he's probably trying to squeeze like 4 more people in there, but I already laid down the law on that. If I'm paying for half of that room, it's just going to be me, you, and Mike, because Mike's going with us. So the Greg is always trying to get somebody else in there, and we shall see. But still up in the air what's going to happen with Silver State. I'm hearing that we might have to pit outside as well. So I'm going to have to ask Anthony to bring the JQ tents to Silver State. Anthony, if you listen to this, which I know you aren't, can you please bring the tents to Silver State, please? Nothing much. Oh, crazy story. So I haven't really chatted to you for a while. You've been busy. So last week, my wife, I always got to have a crazy Dominican story. So real quick, she was at the nail salon with my wife, with my daughter the other day, getting her nails done and whatnot, women things. So she parked the car right next down the hill, not far from where I live. And she just heard so it was like 2 groups of Haitians started fighting each other with machetes and rocks and all this stuff. And she said, all you heard was boom, windows breaking and all this stuff. She said, Keenan, I thought it was our car going. My car's already got to go in the shop. Someone hit it the other day, so I'm waiting to put it in the shop now. But she says, I didn't even want to go outside. And he said, these guys was fighting, like 2 groups, two gangs fighting each other. And then when she went outside, it was a miracle. They broke windshields and dented up all the cars around all around ours besides ours. You know what I mean? No broken, no nothing. I mean, obviously, it's banged up from when we beat it. And it's funny because the cars that they messed up actually belonged to the car wash, and they had cleaned them and they parked them on the side of the road. So then that guy had to bring out his gun, and the cops came, and she came to my house all panicking and stuff. And I said, hey, this is just another day in the DR. That's why I love it here. You know what I mean? Anything crazy can happen. I always miss out on that good stuff, but everything was fine. Crazy Dominican story, life in DR. Nothing much. We raised almost $2,000 for that young kid up in France. I'm sorry, in Quebec, 2 weeks ago on the live. Did you see me eat that lollipop?
I didn't watch.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Then we got $500 more to do another one. I didn't have to eat it though. I just had to put it in my mouth for 5 minutes. But man, it was that stuff was so bad, right, Joseph? It was burning my skin. I'm glad I didn't swallow much of that stuff. I would have been really sick. But hey, it was all worth it, and I would do it again. So now I need to find something else to do to raise some money. Maybe it's going to be sour stuff this time. We shall see. Anywho, anything else you want to add before we go on to... I talked to BattleBot guy for this podcast. It was pretty interesting.
Who?
BattleBots, the combat robots on television. You never seen that stuff? Yeah, so he was Jack Barker and Endgame. They're like the 2020 champions. They just got crowned. Obviously, they filmed it last year, and it's all on TV and stuff like that. And he actually races touring car. So, the guys up in Canada, Curtis and Chuck and those guys, they kind of put me in contact with him, and it was a great chat. That stuff's really big, man. Really, really big. And Yeah, it's on TV and we aren't. So they're doing something right. But anyway, man, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go online here, man? And go do the RC news? All right. Well, you know what? The RC news is brought to you by Lugz Racing, our new sponsor for tires. Lugz Racing has over 55 years experience combined in the RC industry. They are a small company making big moves in the RC world. As you know, in racing, it's all about tires. Lugz Racing has been testing different tread patterns, wheel molds, and proprietary rubber tire blends to bring racers the best product we can. Our tires are available in medium soft, super soft, and mega soft. And first up, we have our Econ tire line that has been developed with budget racers in mind, as well as bashers. This is the line we used existing molds from previous products, but we have used the same rubber compounds as our premier lines. This allows us to keep costs down and pass those savings on to our customers. For the all-out racer, we have the Protos and TQs. These are our premier tire line that are made custom, that we have made custom design molds and utilizing our rubber compounds to bring you, the racer, the performance that you require. Please visit lugsracing.com and save 30% off your order with NNRC Lugz in all caps. Thank you, Lugz Racing. Appreciate you guys' support. Go show them some support, guys. And showing them some love shows us some love. All right, Josie. So the RC news, the RC news is going to be all about PNB, pretty much. But okay, the other big thing that happened this week was Mayako web shop open and some pictures. And like me, I know a lot of people upset because looking for some pictures under the hood. I know that for sure. But I also understand that this is a prototype and I don't see many other companies showing prototypes to people either. So how this is your project and you guys, Wally, Scott, and all involved in Mayako and whatnot. How did you feel the response was? I mean, for the first day, first 20 hours. Yeah,
it was really good. I didn't really know what to expect because it's a sort of new concept, really. So here I can show the pictures of the car. So the car is only available for members this year. So you have to get the membership and then you can buy the prototype at the discounted price. And you can select all these different options for it. And the only pictures we released were these ones with the body on. And the thing is that I think that people who will join this don't need to see under the body right now. That's not going to make or break the decision for joining or not. And that's almost sort of the strategy also. It's not really about what's exactly under the body. It's about the project and the idea and the fact that this car will be developed within that community. And so it's not really relevant. It's going to be a really good competitive car and that should be enough. And the reception was really good. So in the first 20 hours, we sold over half of the available prototypes. So
awesome.
That was really good to see. And
just for people's information, this isn't the finished product. I know there's a lot of people, that's this and this is from this car. And this is, if you read the Facebook, it says these aren't the shocks we're going to use. This is just what we had later on, stuff like that. I get that. And I think the general confusion was with people was, it's membership plus $680. That makes the car $1,000. And from what I saw, that was what people were, people thought that was the price. And it isn't. I mean, it's either when it's production ready, it's going to be $680, which is retail. And, you don't have to join the membership. But if you join the membership, you get a car at what is the membership? $420 for the year. How much does that work out to be a month?
It's $35 a month.
So $35 a month.
Yeah, and the car will then be $379 with the membership. And some people missed this, so now we have it in bold and red that the prototype is being estimated to be shipped in August. So when you pre-order it now and you become a member now, up until August, we are still sharing pictures and videos and ideas and discussing the development of the car, as well as other things to do with, car setup and driving and racing and all kinds of stuff. So sort of what I do on my YouTube channel and what's in the Invisible Speed book, but within this community of future Mayako drivers. So the Discord channel has been really good for this, because Discord is an app on your phone or a computer program, and you can not only chat there, but you can also have live calls or live videos. So there are different channels on there, basically, with different topics, and you can just enter a sort of room, a chat room, I guess you would call it. And if someone else enters, then you can talk, and you can share your screen if you're doing something, or you can do a live video call, and all of the members can then join those different calls. So it is really good for building a sort of tight-knit community of people with the same interests and goals. So that's basically what will be going on for the next few months until people then get the car. And then at that point, everyone's already familiar with not only each other, but also with Discord and how everything works. And then it will be much better when they then get the car and everyone can start testing it and providing feedback and talking about it. So
I think that's key. I think that's what people kind of have to realize, is that being a part of the community is what's going to make this different. People, like, I'll be honest, I was watching Facebook and majority of I would say that it was definitely a great reception. Of course, I also realized how much, not undeserved, but you have a shit ton of haters, and they kind of resurface for things like this. I'm not saying you ain't earned none of these haters, but it's just amazing what, well, I mean, we have opinions too. Everyone's like, well, another car on the chassis on the market and all this stuff. Yeah, but not kind of, because one chassis, I know another chassis is going away, and it's common. It's not just I'll be honest, I'm not gonna swing off your nuts and all that stuff, but I think that your car, people's been waiting to see what you can come up with, and now with this opportunity, you can go a little, you can produce the car that you wanted to produce. So I think people are, exceptional to see what you're coming different. Can we talk about any features? All right, can we say what some of the features are? I don't know, upper arms versus links?
Well, we'll be releasing information in the coming weeks. The members sort of get everything first and see everything under the body too, and all that stuff. And then non-members, that what they know is basically those pictures on the web shop.
Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, I know you've been testing upper arms for a while. I don't know the reason for them on both sides, but I guess we'll wait and you'll put more information about that. But part of me,
it's better in every way, except it's a bit heavier.
Okay. I must admit, I was really hoping for some under the hood pictures, but I understand why there isn't. So it's all good.
There will be more in the next few weeks. And as for the haters, obviously it's normal, it doesn't surprise me. But I sort of, maybe even the haters have lost a bit of imagination, because I used to get much better hate, much more entertaining hate than now. It's or maybe then everything that I do and we do now is that much better that it's not as easy to criticize as before. So I don't know what it is.
I think it's more about you just not being on Facebook and arguing with people for 10 days straight, which I'm grateful of. But you still got to stop. You know what? I've kind of made a rule for myself. And I told you this the other day, I don't engage with people privately, who message me on Instagram or YouTube. But YouTube's not too bad. I'll engage with people publicly. But like you said, you saw that guy, he's engaging with, he doesn't have a picture of his profile. He doesn't have his real name. and they message you privately, and then when you say something that offends them, they go and put screenshots up and try to, do stuff like that. So I've made it a rule, like,
it doesn't matter.
Wow, that
it doesn't
scared
matter
me.
to me.
I know it doesn't matter to you, but
whatever you post in private, you have to assume that it can be public.
Well, I just don't choose to talk. I would rather, if I'm going to talk to you, I want to know who you are and what you look like. You know what I mean? I don't have to know what you look like, but at least I need to know who you are. So I'm kind of made it a rule for myself. If you ain't going to tell me what your name is and at least tell me who you are, then I'll engage with you publicly, but I'm not going to do it privately. You know what I mean? Because you just don't know. I'm just getting kind of sick of the trolls and all that stuff. They pop up every now and then. Like they popped up when you was doing the interview of Derek Bono and all that stuff. And it just gets frustrating because you know what it is, man? It's just people that just hate you from a long time ago. And of course they hate me because I'm affiliated with you. And you know what? I ain't got time for them, so fuck them. That's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Yeah, but the thing is that the people who complain about this kind of stuff now, like, oh, it's whatever, like, oh, the pictures aren't good, or oh, they expect people to buy it without pictures under the body, or the membership thing is silly, or it's a Ponzi scheme, or this or that. Like, they have all these criticisms. But at the end of the day, the whole idea with this is to try and do something different, because everyone can see that. Well, maybe not everyone can see, but I think that a lot of people can agree that our industry could be better, and that there have been many companies that have struggled. Many companies have gone bankrupt. Many companies have had to let people go. So just doing things the old way doesn't work anymore. It can work for a few who have a big market share, but for the rest, it doesn't work. So you have to do things differently. So this is an attempt to do things differently in a positive way, where, like the one slogan was in the beginning, that Mayako isn't for everyone. It's just not for everybody. And I think that's fine. You don't need to try and get every single driver in the world to drive your car. It's enough to find the people who are interested and aligned with the philosophy of the brand. That's it. If it's 500 people, then it's 500 people. If it's 2,000, it's 2,000. It doesn't have to be every single one. And I think that's fine. Why not? Maybe this is a way that the people who do run the Mayako car in the future can have more fun and enjoy their hobby more than they have in the past few years, because they can be a part of something on a different level. No responsibility really for them. It's still just, good fun with friends, but there's more to it than just buying a product and going racing with your friends. So that's what Mayako is trying to do. Something different, connect on a deeper level with all the people that are running the car, and then make it possible to develop the car more and in more interesting ways than what currently is possible in the market.
And also, I think, look, like we say it every time, the business model that RC has created or adapted 10, 15, 20 years, 15 years ago is slowly collapsing. I think you're going to start to see more companies go this route or similar route for their customers.
Go on.
And I just think you're gonna, because we said it before, like, what are we gonna do? End up giving somebody $50 and a car to run? And another thing that this done, this got to show you, like, obviously the JQ guys who want to stick around and run the car, they can run this car or they can run the JQ car. But it's funny to see how many people jump ship, and which you kind of know. We all, when you first kind of came up with this and whatnot, we knew that was going to happen. But that goes to show who's her for the deal and who's her for the real, like, who believes in the people that are behind this, which is you. You know what I mean? And obviously with me, with the JQ guys, obviously my involvement in Mayako is coming later when we actually get cars and JQ cars are running them. But it's a good thing. I mean, I get it too. I get why people, but I think people eventually, we just can't be giving everybody deals. I just said this. You can't give everybody deals and expect to make a profit and expect to stay afloat. You know what I mean? Eventually that comes back to get you.
Yeah, I've never liked the idea of getting customers by giving discounts, because they have the wrong reason for running your product. And when you compete with other brands in that way, the winner loses, basically, because the winner is the one who can give everyone everything for free. And if you do that, then you lost. Like, what's the point? You just destroyed the market for everyone else and you aren't making any money. So that's how you win that race. It's a race to the bottom. And this is an attempt to do it in a different way, where when you don't give discounts and sponsor everyone, it's the customer that decides, this looks like something I want to be a part of. So they invest some money, get the membership, and then they get the discounts. The discount also isn't as big for parts, but for the kit, it's bigger than probably most discounts for other brands. But the reason that people join isn't the discount. At least I think so. Maybe later on in 1 year's time, can do some kind of survey. But I don't think people join Mayako because they get a discount. Yes, it's important that they do, but that's not the reason that they go for it. So I think this is a better way of doing it. Obviously, that's why we are trying it this way now.
Yeah, I agree. And it just is what it is, man. I think, like I tell people all the time, hey, you know, and that company didn't have a bunch of parts available and parts were short. You know why? Because everybody's got deals and they owe money to factories and stuff like that. And that's not the case every time, but you know, it's definitely something that happens. And just because there's a lot of cars out there doesn't mean that company is making money. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of, you know, it's just the illusion that has been created by the industry. So anywho, we've talked about that quite a lot. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse.
I think it's more important to give value to customers that isn't a discount, because then also, even if they get a financially better deal somewhere else or a bigger discount somewhere else, they don't switch, because that's not the reason they are supporting the brand.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, like the people that are signing up for these prototypes, they are not they're interested in what the brand is going to do. You know what I mean? Not at all the best discount they can get. And this is just what we've created. And when a guy can come into RC and he's been in it for 2 months and then he's demanding the best discount, we've created that. We made that. So this is, you reap what you sow. And it's time to fix it. I get it. People want these discounts so they can race more. Well, I think you should. I think, yeah, I mean, get some discounts, but I mean, come on. You're gonna be giving away kits here soon, and nobody makes no money then.
And
all right,
I'm really looking forward to next year's racing now. I mean, more so than normally, because for 2022, Mayako is looking to sign a top driver, like really? winning level driver.
Like Mayfield level driver, you mean? Ronald Falk level driver?
Yes, that level driver. And one driver like that, and then another good young driver as a sort of second driver for an RCGP team. So hopefully one of the top guys is available so that they can sign them. And then it will be, obviously, the racing will be much more exciting for me, because I can watch one of the top pros drive a car that I designed.
Yeah, and it works for Wally Build's team and the JQ guys are running. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a Mayako car, and we'll be running it. So, hey, it's like when Wally was at DNC. He doesn't run for the team, but he's running a JQ car. We all felt happy for him. We wanted him to do well, So, it's all good. I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of the year and next year, to be honest. So, I'm excited for my trip here coming up. Yeah, wait for that. All right, man. Anything else you want to add about Mayako? I didn't really see any other news. I knew we was kind of going to be talking about PNB for a little while. But before we go into PNB, Joseph, I have an important message from Manscaped. All right, so I have to talk about this. So this podcast is obviously sponsored by Manscaped. It's a global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped.com offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels and is now available in the USA, Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and the EU. We have an exclusive offer for all the listeners. Go to www.manscaped.com. Use the promo code NNRC No, is it NNRC? Is it no name? Sorry, no name in all caps. And you save 20% off your order and you get free shipping. Join the movement join the movement and the other 2 million men who trust Manscaped. But before we go any further, I have to talk about this. So, Joseph, did you know this? Did you know that one guy every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? Did you know that? I didn't know that till I saw this. Yeah. So, this is a reminder for men listening to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Manscaped, in addition to providing the right tools and solution to safe and easy manscaping, has partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. Together with the TCS and Manscaped are committed to raising awareness to the most common form of cancer in men from 15 to 35, Joseph. I did not know this. Wow, that's incredible. So, and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer as part of their We Save Balls initiative. So, while you're down there cleaning up your sack, why not go ahead and give them a little investigation for lumps, changes in sizes, any pain, and I think we can all agree it's pretty fun playing with your balls anyway. So, guys, I know we all do that, so just check all that stuff because, you know, this testicular cancer is really a bad thing. And you know what? Get yourself that Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0, the Lawnmower 3.0, and cut through the jungle to find your manhood. All right, Josie. PNB. Wow. Big race. Very big race. 396 bodies, 810 entries. That's massive. Very massive. Congratulations. I know this race is all about getting the most entries as well, but I know that. But I have to say, I was very impressed with a lot of things that Dave and RaceTime done this year. And yeah, I mean, even just the amount of talent that was at this race was impressive. So we have a lot to talk about her. So I like to always start off with the track. Now, this is, in my opinion, this is the best layout that I've seen PNB have. They actually managed to make it even bigger. I don't know how they did that. Hey, Joseph, can you just turn down the volume of your earphones? I hear myself coming back through there. You're close to the mic. So what did you think? I gave the layout 8 out of 10. No wooden jumps, no crazy walls, no really big, stupid break your car jumps, it looked like. It had a great mix of things. What was your thoughts on the track from looking at it?
From just looking at it, yeah, it looked really good. I think I would have enjoyed that.
You know, a lot of people were like, oh, the Joker line isn't real racing and stuff like that. I actually enjoy it. It makes it hard to follow the racing per se, especially from a viewer standpoint, but it does add an element of surprise and another element to the race. And I think it helped a lot of people. And if you didn't get it right, obviously you could, I thought it was good. I like to see them do a Joker lane where you actually have to do it once and you get slower time, but they like it this way. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I think this is the 3rd year in a row that they've had it. So yeah, I think it's all right. I don't mind it. I just wish we had a better way of knowing who was.
I think it's probably better that it's faster.
Right. Probably.
Because
your internet's acting up.
Faster, special.
Hello. Your first world janky internet's acting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you though. If it acts up again, I might just put you off camera.
Yeah,
and
when
just
it's
listen
faster, someone at the back, someone who doesn't qualify well for a main, for example, can take them early, and maybe the others won't take them at that time. You know, so it kind of mixes up the field a bit, at least for a moment there. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And yeah, but back to the track layout. I talked to Bobby here afterwards, and I was like, "Did you guys make that track big?" He's like, "Yeah, we went out like 30 more." Now, I think it's getting to the point where it might be a little bit too big, but I mean that's the point of this race. I give Bobby and Dave and the track masters guys credit. I think they did it good. I mean, you had there's 1 or 2 blind spots.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That I heard there was only 2 blind spots this year. Maybe it's a record.
Yeah. They had a little rough section mixed up too. You know, I like that like dragon backs, like like on the second lane from the front straightaway, like how you had to time that and jump. I like that. I like that the most. You know, like
that
like
whole
where you had
section
to
was
time
good.
it. Yeah.
Sort of,
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
remove your
on-off,
camera.
and then sort of rough loop section.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And then that rough section was getting a lot of people in that yeah, it was like you saw in the beginning of the pro main, like the first lap, Fenn like just flipped out of nowhere on that right before that. No, it was actually before the Joker lane section and all that stuff. So it was good stuff, man. I really enjoyed the track. It was big. It was huge. I had a lot of people people were looking for bodies to spray them like fluorescent green or bright colors so they can see their cars out there on that backstretch. But it was good. It was good. So kudos to them. I enjoyed that. And yeah. So anyway, back to this interesting 810 races. Man, you can't tell me that these guys aren't competing with Joey. Of course they are. Of course they are. How Joey brags to have the biggest race. These guys just blew it away with entry-wise and body-wise, it looks like. But the competition was really good as well. Like in all the classes, like they were stacked, super stacked. Pro class was stacked. The only 3 pros that were missing were from DNC were CJ, Seth Van Dalen, and Mayfield. Well, we know Mayfield, his wife. Congratulations to Ryan Mayfield. He has a beautiful baby daughter, by the way. She got born a few days after PNB, so it's understandable why he wasn't there. But kind of disappointed not to see CJ there. And even more disappointing is, why is Seth Van Dalen not there? That's what I couldn't understand. I for sure thought he was going to be at this race. Hello?
Well, why they have lost him?
You know what? We're going to have to turn off your cam for a second. I think it's messing up your internet. Can you do that for me? Please just turn off your cam for a second. We'll come back when your internet's a little better. So, I'm heard rumors. I don't asked him. Well, I haven't. I did. I've asked people around what's going on with him. I've heard different rumors. I don't want to say what I've heard. I've heard a few different things, but
if they are rumors, why can't you say? That's the whole point of the podcast, isn't it?
Well, I kind of heard that he might have got grounded, so for something at DNC or something like that. That's
using his own parts in the car.
I don't know, but like, come on, like Seth and his dad, they've used their own parts and.
Let's be honest, if you've heard that he was grounded, you know the reason. So why don't just spit it out?
But that's the thing. I don't know the reason. I heard it was something to do with his, like, there's so many rumors going around, like that it was something to do with his cars not being clean or something. I don't know. So maybe that's just a cover up for maybe they got in a little argument, because if I'm Seth Van Dalen, I'm kind of wondering what's going on here now too. You're with Tekno. You got Tekno just signed Kyle McBride and all, and they bought Tyler Jones on, and like they have a stacked team. And as we said it before, I think all these drivers go. I think Kyle stays where he is because he's going to be in Australia. But when he comes to America next year, that's another person added to the list. I definitely think that there are people on the Tekno team that will be on the chopping block at the end of this year. And I don't know what's going on with Seth, but he needs to he has not had the results that he's had. He's not had the 2019, early 2020 that he had. He hasn't, like the later part of 2020, he's kind of had this year has been disappointing for him. You know what I mean? So I hope he can refocus, get things going, because he is Seth freaking Van Dalen. He's talented. But it's just like, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I just think like maybe he's feeling, if I was Seth, I would definitely feel a little bit left out right now. You know what I mean? But he kind of has to dust that off and get back out there and prove why he should be a top driver, in my opinion. And he needs to get that result. You know what I mean? That's the one thing he's kind of missing. He hasn't got that big result. So if I have a message for Seth, man, I don't know why you weren't at PNB. I heard some rumors that you might have got grounded for a month or something like that. Suspended. I don't know. That's the rumor I'm hearing. But dust that off, man, and come out swinging, because I know you can do it. So I hope you can. But I definitely think there's some friction going on right now. It's kind of, it might be like when Cav got that month suspension by AE. You know what I mean? Remember that? So I don't know what's going on with that, but that's just the rumors that I heard people talking from PNB, because it was shocking that he wasn't. I mean, I think he came second at PNB last year, right? Yeah. Or the last PNB, sorry. Well, that they had back in July. So definitely a miss, man. Definitely a miss. Man, I gotta play this video, Joseph, before we go on, because I thought this was pretty cool. And we try to enter it 1 year or two. Where did I put this? Hold on. Did I lose this already? Anywho, the long jump competition. Did you see that, Joseph?
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, I just saw one host. I didn't see us.
Oh, well, man. Did you see how far I like that. I really like that part of PNB. We tried to enter it 1 year and our rocket didn't ignite. But man, he sent that thing. He sent it like amazingly far. And he must have, I think he must have been running like a 6S battery. He geared up. And man, they sent that car. I've been there. I've seen where this goes. Like, you know what I mean? Where this goes. Let's have a look at it real quick. This is courtesy of Live RC. So let's see. That is amazing, dude. Wow.
Oh my God. Oh my.
And the car, this is the amazing part of this.
Oh my. Oh my.
What would have been funny is if someone had been driving there on the road and he would have landed a bit earlier. Like
You always
gone
gotta
through
think
the
bad.
windscreen of the car. That would have been good.
Oh my God. Let's see that again. Actually, nobody, look how fast that car is going. Oh my gosh. Man, that's amazing. I don't care what anybody says. That's amazing. Let's see if your video is working again, Joseph.
Amazing.
I think it's fun. I like that. I want to win it next year if I go PNB. I want to drop. Well, I'll probably miss the ramp myself. I'll probably hit that rocket and that car would just do a beeline right for that field and you'll never see it again. It would just never stop. But I think it's great. It's entertaining. You know what would be great if you got some spectators in there to see that. That would be awesome. Like non-RC people. So yeah, good stuff. Congratulations to Tekno and Joe Bornhorst on winning that. So yeah, good stuff. All right, Joseph. Let's get into the nitty-gritty here. What do you say?
That's fine.
Because this race had a lot of the pro class. Okay, they had 18 car mains. They had to have 18 car mains to get through this race in time, pretty much. Lance McDonald was back running the races. I enjoyed that. It's good to see Lance back there. I think he ran a good program. People might complain, well, it's 18 car mains, but man, to get through 810 entries, that was the only way to do it. I think they even got out of there at a decent time on Sunday. Not on Saturday, though. They were there till like 3 in the morning. What was it, 3 in the morning, and they started racing at 6 again?
Yeah.
That was madness. But this is what this race is all about. Yeah, but this is what the race is all about. So kudos. It's good to have Lance back calling races. I talked to him here. Maybe I'm going to get him on the podcast to talk about his new series that he's doing. But I like Lance. You know, I would have liked to see Lance do RCGP as well. And it comes back to America. So that was good to see. But man, we got to talk about this. What do you want to talk about? Pro Nitro Buggy only, or do you want to venture into E-Buggy or Truggy and all that stuff?
Pro Nitro Buggy only.
All right. So anyway, just to say anything, Spencer Rivkin, winner of Truggy, and winner of Truggy was an E-Buggy actually. So he killed it, man. He killed it on that sense per se. But where is it? I'm just trying to bring up a picture here of him. There we go. There he is. Oh man, look at that. Tessman in 5th, Spencer Heckert, good run for him. Fend in 2nd, Tebow 4th, and look at that trophy. We're gonna talk about that more, but those are some badass trophies. I wonder where that idea came from. But kudos to that. That's a nice trophy. And I don't blame him. I would want a few of them myself. So Spencer wins Truggy. On foot, I think Cav could have won that, but he did his Joker lane and he flamed out too fast. He did his Joker lane and he was just still like faster than just dropping faster laps than everybody, and he flamed out and he actually came back a little bit later. And E-Buggy, I didn't watch it too much, but it was a good race to the end, and congratulations to Rivkin. But you know, the big enchilada is Pro Nitro Buggy, and man, I didn't think this was, Max picked Tessman to win, right? And I thought he was crazy. But man, Tessman must have went home to Canada, and I don't know what he done, but he came down to Tennessee.
Home or stayed in California so he can practice.
I don't know. I thought he went home. You know, did you hear anything if he went home? I thought he was home. If he wouldn't have been home, wouldn't we have seen him at some of these races in California?
Open.
Yeah.
When was he in California last? I don't know.
DNC in February.
Yeah, maybe he stayed in California.
But we would have seen him
together.
We would have seen him you would have been pictures of him or videos of him at races or something, or at OCRC or at Thunder Alley, and there was nothing like that.
I doubt he would have been going to any races.
I think he went back to Canada because he even did a video. He dropped a video like a week ago or a week before PNB, and looked like it was at his house. Where he usually does his videos. So I believe he went back to Canada, and I believe they can come over, but they have to quarantine for like 14 days when they go back or whatever. So I'm thinking they're gonna stay here for Silver State, and obviously, but they have to do the nationals too. So I'm hoping they stay for Silver State and nationals. But man, dude, this guy, like, this is what you do though. Like, I mean, we talk shit about the Tessmans, like, and how we thought they might be done and Gord might be losing it, but I mean, they went back, they took their licks, and they came back out, and they came out swinging, and they TQ.
You want to hear my theory?
Okay, I don't know if I want to hear your theory. Is it going to be rude?
It's not rude. It's just factual, most likely. So
it's probably
left Canada, went to America, broke up with his girlfriend in Canada, and that's why he's now fast again. So initially, it wasn't too good in DNC, but then, you know, after a few weeks, got over it and sort of started the re-virginizing process, and then now he's back on it.
Well, I think this is his first time at PNB as well. So first time at PNB, maybe I don't know, maybe the hot race tires the East Coast based more, been on the East Coast for a little longer, maybe that helped a little bit too.
It's more important probably just to get used to them and figure out the setup and all that stuff.
Oh, he came out and he kicked ass, man. He won the race. I don't think he dominated the race per se.
No, it was close.
Yeah, it was very close. Like, it wasn't a dominating performance, but very much needed performance for Ty Tessman.
Arguably, it would have been closer if Cavalleri's body didn't come off.
I know. But we'll rewind. Let's talk about this. I think Tessman desperately needed this for his sponsors, for Gord, for everybody involved in that camp, because it's been a long time since he's tasted victory like this at a big race. Been on the podium, but hasn't won. Buggy. So, you know, congratulations to Ty Tessman, Canada's favorite son. Oh, Canada. You came out, you went home, or wherever you went after that, you reevaluated, you came out swinging, and you won a race. First race you ever been to.
He didn't go back to Canada. Otherwise, he would have gone to see his girlfriend. We know that.
I think he went back to Canada. Stop if your theory is wrong, okay?
No, it's not.
He did go back.
So accurate. He
reevaluated, and this is what real champions do. Yes, like 17th at DNC, in the B main, not making the 8. Unheard of for Ty Tessman. Goes back, regroups, focuses, comes out and wins this race, which is going to be interesting because we got to talk about points in the NNRC Cup and all that stuff here as well. Well, we talk about it now, isn't it? Because it's all about this.
Bring up the points. Let's see.
I will. Prepared. I did, but let's talk about Cav, because I think that the GOAT, I really think that the GOAT is in the flow, is like in the flow. Like, when I say in the flow, in the glow, whatever you want to say, I think that hold on, did I share it? Oh, shucks, what happened there? All right. I am so stoked about this. People be like, oh, you're ignoring Tessman. But I think that this is the biggest thing here. Like here's the NNRC Cup. If you haven't heard about it, we started it last week. This actually developed on the podcast, and we went ahead through it. This is just for fun, but I am getting a big trophy made for this. And these are the points after DNC and PNB, with the GOAT in first after a third place finish, Tyler Jones in third. Actually, Tyler Jones and Tebow are tied for third. I would have to say maybe.
I don't see any points. Those are the standings.
I know. I'm going to show you points in a second. Jesus, take it easy. So
these are the points. So I don't see.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that. I just wanted to show that as well. So here are the points. Hold on. Cav, man, I'm telling you, man, Cav is feeling it, Joseph. He was the most impressive to me. And Jones. If his body didn't alligator, he would have walked away with this. He would have won it. Like, and
how can you say that? He wasn't leading when it happened.
Because he was faster than everybody. I can see it. Okay. I saw it. You know? Saw it. I think my prophecy with Cav is coming true. Remember that video I made how he'll win a Worlds? Watch. He's figuring it out faster than he did with the S-Works. Because he's got that whole team to help him out.
Okay,
Watch.
We'll see.
Watch. If his body didn't alligator, he would be
video this week about fending.
Oh gosh. You want Barry Baker to hate you even more.
Well, actually, that's why I'm making this video. Because I heard some feedback from Barry.
Oh, yeah. He was
me being wrong or whatever. So I'd just like to prove my point again here.
All right, so what are your thoughts on Cav and the top three here then? Before we go into points in the NNRC Cup and all that type of stuff. Let's go through that, like this race. Let's go through some of these notables and whatnot. Hold on, where are my notes? There we go. So for me, who impressed me, obviously Tyler Jones, a second place finish. We know he can do this. It's good to see him do it. So that's not, I think he could have won this too, because it came down to being really close. Cav, like I said, figuring it out. People's gonna have to watch him. He's faster than Dakota now. Literally. And this is only his first few months with the car. This is what Cav's good at, though. You always say this. Cav's good at doing well with a car that's not 100% great.
I didn't say that, people.
Yes, you have. You said that to me privately.
No, but if you are implying that the TLI isn't good or 100%.
No, but I'm not saying that it's not great, but I'm not saying that it's not great, but it's weird because because fans so
squirm out of this one.
Oh, you just like put me in precarious predicaments.
I didn't do anything.
Yes, you do. But all right, I'm not dissing the car, but obviously there's a lot of things going on. I talk to people. I know what's going on, what's going, how many parts from different cars they're using to try and get things right with the car. You know what
really?
I mean?
What are they using?
I'm not saying all that. They just people tell me this. This is from drivers that are driving the car.
Okay, so you know what I mean? Other brand parts are they
don't know. I didn't ask all that. Jesus, you want to know everything.
You're gonna get a cease and desist. I'm gonna read what it's gonna say. Wait.
Oh no.
It's gonna say this is what you're gonna get in the mail soon for saying that. You're gonna get upon examination, it's obvious that your statements were malicious and made with the very intention of damaging my client's business reputation. My client has suffered irreparable damage to its business interests. Basically, you said that Cavalieri is good at driving cars that are not 100% great. This will cause
I probably should have reworded
damage. Irreparable damage to the business interest.
I look at Fend, and Fend's been with this car for how long?
I just don't want you to fend yourself now because, listen, if you do not remove the aforementioned activity, a lawsuit will be commenced against you. We will also seek monetary damages to be proven at trial. You will not receive another warning letter.
Did you get another cease and desist or something?
No, this is the original one.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about that is that they can take all of nothing because I have nothing to give. But I'm not talking bad about the car, but they're still working on the car. And I've been talking to other team drivers and what's going on. But I'm wondering, like, Fenn's had so much time with this car and Cav's just coming in there and I think he's figuring it out, like, you know, or he's just that much? Is he that just much better, more experienced than Fend?
Just has a different driving style. Fend is
Yeah.
too aggressive. Cavalieri is aggressive, but he is the sort of point and shoot aggressive. You know, he doesn't really enter the corners super fast and throw the car in. Like, no, he brakes before the corner, keeps a tight line, but all his inputs and everything is like very precise and fast. You know, so it looks aggressive, but actually, if you look at the car in the corner, it's not, or entering the corner, it's not anything crazy. You know, he doesn't push the car too hard in that moment, whereas Fend does. He is sort of too aggressive in relation to what the car wants to do.
Racecraft. I think Cav has really good racecraft. If you watched him, he put that car as close as the pipe as he could on every corner, defending his position.
Yeah, but you can also see it, for example, when the body started coming off. How he didn't really make any mistakes because of that. But you know, he had to adjust his driving immediately because of that. You know,
right? And I think that's a skill that Cav has. You know, and I don't think Fend has that yet. I think he'll get it, but I mean, Cav kind of
have it now. He never will.
Well, come to think of it, that's Cav's had it all this time. That's why he's a multi-time champion and 4-time Reedy champion. You know, so yeah, I don't know. Well, it took Mayfield. That's also what I mean by not great. Like body coming up, it didn't really phase him that much. Obviously at the end,
with someone like Fend, because he's that good and been racing for this long, I don't see him changing. I think he will start doing better when his program is better for him. When the car setup is working for him, okay, then he'll be better. But I don't see him changing as a driver.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I'm excited about the GOAT, and it's good to see Tyler Jones. Let's talk about him. Great performance for him. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, he was good, I guess. I mean, Tyler Jones is kind of funny because he's so invisible to me in some way. You know, there are some drivers are just invisible, and he's one of them.
Not to me.
Just in general, like I think if you even ask people who's Tyler Jones outside of America or those races, I don't think people even will know.
Well, let's be honest. This is his first year of actually being a pro, like, off school, doing all these races.
Yeah,
I call him dark horse.
This race for TLR?
He won it in 2019.
Yeah, see, that's 2 years ago.
Yeah, but then he didn't really. He went to Agama the next year. He didn't really race, and then he's back fully racing this year, and that's why I call him the dark horse. And people get upset, but it's kind of like that. The Midwest people know him because they race with him, they know him, and all that stuff. I've gotten to know him because I've been watching him. But I think this is the guy. Like, I think this is one of the guys that are going to take it to this next level here. Like, he isn't scared. He wants it, and he's going after it. So great performance for him. The win is it's not far away from him, but he needs to stop having this off day. Like, it's either he's got to have a good day and win or podium, or a medium day where he makes top 5. But he can't be having those bad days where he's way back or breaking something. Like ENC, I think he was in 10th or something like that or whatever. But congratulations to Jones. Other notable performances for me were Brandon Rose. It was really good to see him go. He finished 6th. He finished the race. That was one of his big things, is like he hasn't been able to finish races, but he has. It's good to see him racing more as well. So that's great. Jackson Brunson in 7th. The Ginger Ninja. Coming in, he beat Spencer Rivkin. He beat his buddy. He beat Rivkin. And Fenn, people talk about Fenn, but he got 5th. He should be on the podium, but he got 5th. So I would say that's notable performance for me. Maybe not the performance that he wants, but it's better than his DNC performance. Not so good. Tanner Denny made the trip. Is Mugen now putting their eggs in with like Ryan Mayfield and Tanner Denny, you think? Like their 2 main USA drivers?
I don't know. Or Drake also.
Yes, but Drake is more of a worker. Like, he works for them, and he's more of a team manager type role, but he's still fast. Don't get me wrong. But it's good to see Tanner Denny racing more. Like, I think this is good. Like, because he's fast. He proved it at DNC, finished in 2nd. I think ninth is. I would like to see him do better, but I think he walks away for ninth and is happy. Drake, man, Drake in 12th. A big difference from where he finished 5th at DNC. In 12th, PNB. I'm not going to say it, but I am going to say it. There was no 40 plus man before this. So I don't know. Might be some coalition with what we said a few weeks ago after DNC.
What order were the races run?
Well, he did Truggy.
No,
the pro
Nitro Buggy.
Oh,
40 plus and that. But
well, it was
he didn't
after
race 40 plus?
Yeah, he
He
raced
did.
40 plus. Yeah, but it was after Pro Man.
And qualifying too?
No, they qualified. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure because they qualified. Sorry, they qualified in groups. So sport, like they ran all the. So if they run Nitro Buggy, they run all the classes. Let's see. Let's actually bring that up and see if we can see that. Qualifying rankings. We can't see it now, can we? Qualify. All right, so let's see. So they raced. All right, so pro. All right, so the qualifying went like this: Nitro Buggy, E Buggy, 40 plus E Buggy, Pro Nitro Buggy. Okay, so they did the Pro Nitro Buggy. Yeah, 40 plus in qualifying came after Pro Nitro Buggy. And it came after in the mains. So, I see what you're saying there, Joseph.
Yeah, well, there you have it.
There might be some proof there. 12, I think he could have done better, maybe, but who knows? You know, who knows? I'm just saying, maybe our point is being proven there. But I was expecting a little bit more from Drake, and I think one of my biggest disappointments was Jared Wiggins, man. You know, we praised him about making all these mains and whatnot and how good he's been doing, but he didn't make the main here, and it was 18 car main. So I think he's a little bit upset about that, but you know what he's doing? He's getting back on the horse and is going up to LCRC, and he's going to race. Jared Tebow got a 4th. I don't think he would, after winning this race last year, I think he wanted a lot better race. I did chat to him briefly before he because he helped me out with that video and he was looking forward to this, but man, it was a stack. Joe Bornhorst in 8th. Mason Fuller, man. Hey, Mason the Fuller, or the Iceman as he likes to be called, 10th, made all 3 mains, finished 3rd in E-Buggy. Great run from him. Ryan Lutz down in 13th. Not what he really wanted to finish, but to be honest, with that new car and only him running it, it's going to be difficult.
Okay, wait, so remind me, why is Lutz racing PNB?
He said it on the podcast. I can't remember. He says he can race it now.
God let him do this one.
Well, basically, pretty much what he said.
Okay.
So,
Good to know.
who else? Aiden Horn made the main, but obviously had issues and it was out. But good to see him making the main. He made the main at DNC. Cole Ogden, this has got to be disappointing for him, man. You know, you come off. That is actually, I forgot to. Cole Ogden in 17th, man. Come on, Cole. You go to DNC. You have
never really a factor either, I think.
Yeah, like you go to, you know what it comes down to, man? And I honestly think this is, on the East Coast, Cole's got to be the guy. He's got to help out everybody. There's no one to really help him. I don't know if Eddie Lorette made the trip over to help him pit, but I think when he goes on the West Coast, he just has a little bit more support. Not say, like there's obviously a lot of people in the Southeast running HB, but when you go to California, you got like, you know, what's his name? JT Barons, Eddie Lorette. Oh, it's got a lot more help, and it just seems to help him better. And I just kind of think that Cole, I'm going to say it, like, it's just inconsistent. You go from 2nd at DNC to 17th at her. It looks like you had an issue at the end, but not even really a factor in this race. And he should be a factor because if anybody should be used to this type of dirt and this race, it should be Cole. He's done it enough times. So kind of disappointing for Cole after such a great run at DNC. But this is racing, man. Another Spencer Heckert done in 16th, but still new with the buggy coming from C-Hub car to Pillaball. And Jacob Hardison, man, out of Adrenaline Raceway, they're in Virginia. once again, making the main. He qualified 18th. All right, let's be honest. This was a big main. This is, as the Gunny says, it's like, so it's 80% of the B mains and the A main, if it was 10 people per main. But, disappointing for him. Evan Vale, a good run, 11th. So, yeah. And obviously Spencer Rifkin, a race that he wants to forget because he had a great run, 3rd at DNC, and then he comes here and he doesn't look like he flamed out or anything. He was just off pace in that main. So I wonder what mistakes he made. Anything you want to touch on about this, like what you saw with Tessman or whatnot? What did you see with Tessman driving that made things better?
No, I didn't see anything. I mean, I'm sure he just spent time somewhere at the track and figured out his setup and engine and tires and everything. That was it.
Okay. It takes time too. You know what I mean?
Also, this race has 24 hours of practice.
They
could practice as much as they wanted. So definitely they did practice until he was comfortable and everything was working just how they wanted. So yeah, it's different at DNC. So if you go there and your things aren't working right in the first practice,
yes,
you're going to struggle because it's two practice rounds. Track is way different in both. So if you struggle in the first one, you can't really know what changes to make because you were so far off in the first one. Then the track is completely different for the second one. So you are constantly like one step behind. Do you see what I mean? You need to go to that race where the first practice run, your car is decent. It's ballpark. It's pretty good. You don't have any big issues. And then the only thing you do really is maybe have a few improvements in mind. Then you look at the track. Okay, changed in this way. I'll tweak these few things a bit. But if you're way off, then it's going to be difficult because you have to figure out how to get in the ballpark and also how to get in the ballpark of this new condition. Yeah, it's hard.
Well, congratulations, man. Like I said, he needed this desperately, I think, for confidence as well. And congratulations to him, man. He came out and proved everybody wrong, including us, because we thought he was like on the way out, But this is what champions do, and the Tessmans are known for that as well. So congratulations once again, and Canada, and shout out to my boy Black Dolphin and all the Canadian fans of the podcast. Before we go into the NNRC Cup, Joseph, I just want to also say I want to shout out and give kudos to Dave Leikum. I like some of the stuff he did. I just like did you see him running around in the Joker? Like not the Joker, but he looked like the Riddler from Batman.
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Willy Wonka. Yeah. Well, he looked like the Riddler too, but with the top hat, definitely.
He had a Willy Wonka version.
Oh, you see, you always gotta turn the ass out of it. When we're trying to be, you just gotta go. You always gotta go to that next level. Do you always have to
William
go for
Wonka.
the juggler?
That's it.
I thought that was cool. They had Monster Energy there. They had a video where they're going around giving out Monster. They had a party. Man, I have to give Dave. We give him some crap here on the podcast. And he sent me a message and he sent me look, and he goes, shares me the trophies. I win. I was like, yeah, man, the trophies are badass. Speaking of the trophies,
what a great idea! I'm glad he had that idea of making trophies. It's good. No, but seriously, it was good. So what I saw of the live stream was good. There was a lot of, he sort of invested in the event itself,
Yes.
Screens and like making it more of a show. So I'm sure if you were there, it was more than just a club race, so that's good.
Yeah, there's trophies.
Trophies
so nice.
instead of plaques. That's always good. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see. I hope this trend continues. Yeah,
and also, it was so cute. Like I saw, obviously, I want to shout out to a few people. To the Oldmans that were with us at DNC. Their son won Sportsman Buggy and Nitro Buggy, which was happy for them. He got 2 big trophies. I saw another young kid. I think is Bryce's son. He won Sportsman Truggy. The trophies are almost bigger than him. By the way, Matt Owens did a great job with this. He's the guy who's going to build the NNRC Cup trophies as well. Can't wait to see what he comes up with. And the atmosphere, like I talked to people. People were happy. People after the last DNC were not very happy. I think the whole cutting a qualifier away because they only did 2 qualifiers and stuff, that really pissed people off. And they got 3 qualifiers. Obviously, people, I didn't have much sleep and stuff. That's normal for PNB, but it sounds like everybody had fun. They had like a social, all that type of stuff. And yeah, they stepped it up. I liked what they done. Okay, I'm not really big into the monsters and all that stuff, but that's Dave's thing. The only thing I want now is to get some behinds in their seats and demand these manufacturers to bring more and make their drivers look more professional and stuff like that. And do factory roads. And I gotta say this once because I gotta piss off somebody. Pamphlets, paper, explaining who the pros are and what's going on and stuff like that. I hope he does that next. Phone. No, paper pamphlets. People want something they can take home. Trust me. No, it's not. I still have my Nationals pamphlet, and I love it, and it's awesome. I'm just gonna say this again. Pamphlets. I'm trolling somebody right now. Yeah, kudos to those guys. Like I said, sounds like it was fun. They handled that 810 entries, which was amazing. They got out of there like at a decent time Sunday, like I think 10. And generally people had fun, and I want to go back to this event again at one day. I would never race this event, but I like going to it. And I hope he keeps it up because now, Dave's thinking about capping Wicked Weekend and all that type of stuff. So, I think Dave only hears like the bad stuff we say, but I do give him credit. We do give him credit when he does good things. This is what I like to see too. And I think this could speed up things with the transition between drivers. He should have an off-ramp. So you should go up one way, right? Go up to the driver's stand one way and down the other way. And that way you ain't got a whole bunch of people waiting on the line. They can just go right off the stand, have a table and stuff where you can put your car and everything and go right out to your pit. It does sound like something simple, but that would save so much time. So you have the guys come up, you have the guys go on, and that way on that side of the pits, you ain't gonna go talk to your pit guy, you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna go back to your pit. You put your car down there, you go right out to your marshal. That would speed things up a lot faster. So yeah, get an off ramp for that driver stand. It would make a difference, I think. But man, I'm happy for him. I told Bobby, congratulations. Like Joe is trying to say that Silver State is the indoor worlds, but I'm going to be honest, man. RaceTime, they know what they're doing when it comes to indoor races, and they have a product that people like to go to. I don't know why he doesn't make a series out of his races, to be honest. He has 5 of them. Why can't he make a series?
He doesn't like series.
Oh, okay. I happen to love series. And
one-off events.
I guess, but he can do it, and it would be great if he did. And yeah, I'm just trying to look for the picture of him in his Riddler uniform.
It's William Lanka.
Riddler. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the NNRC Cup because this really affects the points and everything going into Silver State. If you guys aren't familiar with what the NNRC Cup is, it's some crazy idea that I came up with. Actually, RCGP done it in 2018, but nobody really paid attention to it. But it's like a virtual series using existing races. So here we have it right here. So first place gets 100 points and TQ gets 3 points. So after DNC, we have Cav with a 62 because I believe he finished in, hold on, I have it right here. Cav finished in 6th at DNC. So that gave him 62 points and he came up and he came 3rd, so it's 82. So he's in 144 points. He's got a 14-point lead over Tebow, who's at 130. And Jones is also at 130, so they're kind of tied for 2nd. But I think Jones actually wins this with a better result. He should be in front. Tanner Denny's in 4th at 127. Tessman, biggest mover of all these guys. After only scoring 14 points at DNC, he TQs and wins, and that gives him 103 points, 117 points. So he's back in the hunt. Ogden, he got a 14 at this race too. So 90 and a 14. Fend, 102 points. Mayfield, even though he didn't attend this race, he's still in the hunt. He has a 0. But if he goes to Silver State and the Nationals and he can win both those races, he can potentially win this NNRC Cup. And then we have Drake in 90.
Do you drop any, or it's 4 out of 4?
No, I ain't dropping because I put it to a vote with the patrons and they said no drops. They make this real. And they didn't even want TQ points. But I'm like, I want to make TQ worth something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
worth
possible,
more than
I guess.
Worth more than just
when it's done.
Yeah. But I mean, this goes down to, we ranked to the top 30. You can go to House of RC and check out more of their rankings. But we're just talking about the top 10 right now and how DNC and PNB affected. Now, this is all like virtual and just kind of trying to show people how cool it would be to follow this if this was a series, an actual series, where people get points on for where they finish and whatnot like that, like other motorsports. So it's just something for fun. The winner is not gonna get, but he's gonna get a little trophy and he's gonna get his name on this big, hopefully 35-inch trophy that Matt Owens is gonna make for me. It's gonna be badass. And I can't wait. So what do you think about this, Joseph? What do you think about the NNRC Cup, the points and all that type of stuff? Hello?
Well, I mean, what do you think I think?
Well, I think you like this type of stuff, but
I think I was somewhat involved in this.
Yeah.
Happening.
I
think it's good.
I think people
gives
can
us
get
something
into this.
to talk about, especially if these people now go to all these races.
Yeah. So, and then the nationals to finish it off, and hopefully I'll be at both of these races and be able to present the person with the trophy. Take it back because they don't get to keep it, but they just get their name on it. No, just get their name on it.
They should keep it for a year.
Well, it's going to be 30.
Cup.
Well, maybe I might do that, but they would have to get it back to me somehow. So maybe we might do that. But then I might not ever get it back because it's going to be pretty big. I don't know, man. I just think it's fun. The point of this is to show people that a series can be done in RC, and it would be better if actual companies committed to an actual series like RCGP. But this is the NNRC Cup, and this can go anywhere, really. It doesn't have to stay in America. It could go to Europe. Maybe we have an NNRC Europe. I don't know. We're just having fun right now. Just something to talk about. But if you guys want to see more the point standings and how things work, I'll have the link in the description of this podcast. Everything's on House of RC, and obviously it's pinned to the top of our Facebook. And I assume you'll get this up on the website here soon. But yeah, someone's going to get a big-ass trophy and their name, get their name engraved on the first NNRC Cup, and I think it's going to be awesome. Joseph, anything else to add about PNB before we move on to some Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A questions?
I guess not.
All right. Well, you know what, Joseph? Thank you. Once again, congratulations to Ty Tessman, Spencer Rivkin, everybody that podiumed and had fun at PNB. Congratulations to Dave, Bobby, and the RaceTime crew and Track Masters crew. You guys knocked it out of the park. Keep up the good work. Keep striving to improve. That's what I like to see. Striving to do things different, striving to do things better, and improving. So I see little things like that, and it makes a difference, and I think that's great. So congratulations to them and everybody that had fun. It's now time for the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Yes, thank you, Beach RC, for the continued support. They were at PNB. Lucas had the white whale up there doing big things. I think they might begin, I don't know, but they're definitely a sponsor of the Nationals, definitely a sponsor of Silver State. Brent and Lucas doing good things. It's a brick and mortar hobby shop with a track and everything. I think they're just hitting the ball out of the park. They're super busy, uber busy. We have an affiliate link. If you can use that, go show them some love. It shows the podcast some love. The link is in the written description of this podcast. Joseph, I need your attention. Stop reading. I can see in your glasses what you're reading. So, Joseph, our first question comes from Benjamin James, who actually posed the question about a series, and that's where the whole idea came across for the NNRC Cup. But he asks, people have sometimes mentioned the thought of RC on television. What would it take to be able to to get RC racing on television and what classes would be the best fit. I'll save my thoughts for the hotline, but I wanted yours. Well, you know, I'm going to say nitro. And I'm going to say we just don't have a product. Well, we do. We do have one product, but everybody shuns it. But as RC racing as we do now is not spectator friendly. I mean, we can go on a whole rant how we don't even know who professional guys are at races. And, you know, even from talking to Matt and what they did with RCGP, how hard it was to get racers to comply and do things different and show up for interviews on time and be here and be all that type of stuff. We have to create a product and we have to make it exciting and it has charisma. I mean, they had, I on the last podcast, I talked about speed cubing, Joseph, like Rubik's Cube competitions. I saw it on Netflix. Well, they had a documentary in there and there was a whole, you know, they talked about this kid who had autism, who's really good against this Australian guy. We don't have that in RC. You know, we have no storylines. We have nothing because we don't have any series, anything to go by. We just have races that mean nothing. I mean, they mean, obviously, if you win them, they mean something, but we don't have a series of races where it determines the champion. We don't have any charisma. We, you know, a lot of things. We qualify for 3 days, you know, so lots of things. What's your thoughts on that, Joseph?
Yeah, I think that for people to watch this on TV, it needs to be the slowest form of racing, basically, and biggest cars. So 5th scale sucks. We're not interested in that. So 8 scale, and maybe 8 scale nitro off-road could be the one. Or if it's on-road, it would need to be something where the cars are a bit slower because
5th scale.
They're too fast, really.
I think it would have to be 5th scale.
It's too fast. And also another thing is the racing format would have to be different and more exciting. You know, shorter races, more heads-up racing. The cars would have to be more distinct, so you know that orange car is this person and that green car is this person. Not like a smudge of red, 4 identical-looking cars. No one knows who is who. So there are many things like this that would need to change for it to work on TV. But also, I think that being on TV isn't relevant these days. It really isn't. Many YouTube channels get better views than legit shows on cable news channels, for example, or on TV channels. So TV isn't some holy grail. What we need is just well-produced and thought-out content that we can share ourselves everywhere, on social media, on YouTube. That's enough. You don't need TV. We just need, like RCGP has started doing, a product like that, which is consistent. You can tell the stories of the individuals that are involved, because then people will start caring about the racing and caring about the people. So you learn to know the people who are involved, the drivers, maybe even if there's a character as a mechanic, you learn to know that person or team owner or whatever. So there's some backstory. People know who's involved. Then the racing format is one that is exciting to watch. So it's not 1 hour of cars randomly going around the track. It's exciting. And also you can identify the cars easily, so you know who is who. And then when you package that with good sort of post-produced content before, after, during, make it into a show, it's 30 minutes, it's 45 minutes, 1 hour, whatever it is, and you have that consistently over a period of time. So let's say a season lasts for a few months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. Consistent content. Then next year, consistent content again, same characters. If you keep doing that, yeah, then it can work. Then it's a product. It's the window through which new people can see this hobby as more than just a hobby. Like, it can be a sport too.
I personally think we should be trying to get this on. Yeah, I personally think we should be trying to get this on Netflix.
Well,
like, I don't see how Driven can't be on Netflix. If they can have speed Rubik cubes and make a storyline out of that, then Driven should be on Netflix.
Yeah, of course, but it's not that easy.
I know it's not that easy.
There's a lot of things that should be on Netflix.
Yeah, but I mean, people chasing.
But most people just think like, "Hey, just put DNC on TV." And
no, but that wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't be awesome. You have to be mentally challenged to sit and watch a blurry screen with blobs going around for
That explains
16
a lot
hours a day.
for myself.
You do. Let's face it.
Yeah, I know.
And
I'm
most
mentally
people-
challenged to do that.
So you need to put out a good product that gets people hooked. And we don't really have that yet.
Yeah, we don't even know who professional guys are. In fact, we're going to talk about that in the thought of the day.
Yeah, the best, even though I'm involved, it's just the truth. The best product right now for that is RCGP. That's just how it is. And if people realize this and supported it, then that could be the thing. The thing is that the thing that annoys me maybe the most in this industry is how I think it's in everything really, not just this industry. It's just that I'm involved in this, so I see it. But it's how too many people think too selfishly and greedily, in a sense that there's an option of doing two things. Option A, we're not going to do that because it does help us, but it helps someone else also, and that's not good. So we're going to do option B, which only helps us. Or even better, if it helps us and maybe it's worse for someone else.
Mhm.
That's actually the best. Like that way of thinking. And I don't care. You can hate me or dislike me or whatever, but you cannot say that I think like that or I act like that. I may talk shit or do, make jokes about other brands or companies or people or at their expense. I joke about myself too. But if you look at the projects I'm involved in and the things I do, wrote a book, Invisible Speed, helps everyone, regardless of car you race. RCGP, evolved in starting that, helps everyone. Right?
Podcast,
YouTube
channel.
Podcast, who does that help? Everyone. Look at the sponsors on here. Are we discriminating? The subjects we talk to, the guests that come on, it helps everyone in general. YouTube channel.
Which, by the way,
everything that
you reached
and
10K,
gonna help
so
everyone.
now you got to race Kyosho Masters.
Yeah, but they moved it to next year, so
okay.
2022. But that's my point, is that if more people realize this, like, hey, if we choose to do the option that helps us but also helps the industry as a whole, then we'll be in a better place, all of us together. So if there can be one thing in this small industry that could be on Netflix or could reach a larger audience or could be the pinnacle of professional racing, then let's do that. Everyone needs to come together and do that. And it will eventually help all the other races too, because there will be so many more people involved who want to go to those other races also. So it just it's just a bit annoying. Like, not every race needs to be in a series. Not every race needs to run some new format. There's room for everything and all kinds of different racing. And PNB that has 24 hours of practice, there's room for that here.
Yes.
But everything doesn't need to be the same. But let's try and do at least
something different.
Something together which can be bigger than what we have.
I agree. People don't get it when I say we just don't have a product, but that's a good example. Justin Huglin, my Star Wars brother, how are you? The force is strong with you. Racing was great this weekend. There were some battles out there. Okay, here's my question. What is the prize in your point series? Well, you know what? I'm going to put this out to a vote. Should we let the winner of the NNRC Cup take the trophy home for a year? Will they mail it back? Or should we keep it and give them a plaque? Top 3 plaque. But yeah, we're kind of debating if I'm on the fence. Should we let them take it for a year or not?
No, so there should be one big trophy that is the one that everyone's name gets engraved on. And I guess if they want to, they could keep it for a year. But then there should also be another trophy that they get to keep.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Top 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to give top 3 trophies.
Yeah.
But maybe just a cutout of what the actual trophy is going to be so they can put it on their wall, travel with a little easier.
No, don't be cheap now. Trophy. It needs to be a trophy that they get
I'll get a
keep.
smaller version of what that is then. There we go. 12-inch version.
Something they can travel with.
He says I should send them a demonic lollipop like what I ate. Man, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That stuff was rough. Oof. Toe of Satan, man. All right. George Sorry, George, I'm butchering your name. George Busiotis. Hey, Keenan, does Manscaped sell stencils to shave? I don't know, man. Do you want a landing strip or something? But he asked about Manscaped. He says, but seriously, looking at Ty's performance at PNB versus this year's DNC, what do you think was the determining factor in the performance gain? He was on fire at PNB. I think you touched on it pretty good too. 24-hour practice, refocusing, getting ready.
Re-virginizing. You know it's true.
It ain't worked for you.
I haven't been re-virginizing.
Well, you did at some point. An involuntary re-virginizing. It wasn't voluntary. Donnie B.
It was voluntary.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Right.
Yeah.
It was voluntary, but it was involuntary because you're still trying. But what is the favorite Donnie B asks, what's the favorite AKA tire of the weekend, tire and compound? I don't know. I wasn't there. Did you hear anything, Joseph?
No.
All right. No, I don't know, Donnie. You're going to have to ask some of the AKA guys. Josiah Jr. ran out of talent. What's up, Savage Joe? On the last episode, Max talked about his hatred of traction compound. I'm willing to hazard, I guess it's because it's toxic. Well, you'll lose a second per lap if you don't use it. Use when it's warranted. My question is, has Max ever left a race where traction compound is a must? I guess we can use this for you because Max, we talked about traction compound on the last podcast.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's just an unnecessary additional complication, and they are poisonous, the good ones. So it's just something that's unnecessary, and I always hate it when people say that, well, we can't control for it, so we allow it. I mean, that's just the dumbest attitude ever. So if you don't allow it, then far less people will use it. And probably, like, if you do it properly, then no one will use it. At least not someone who has something to lose. So it's
Is there a safe alternative
like,
for
what?
it?
Rape and murder, we just can't police it. People get raped and murdered all the time, so we're just going to allow it. It's the exact same way of thinking. Well, we don't allow it, do we? Because we can accept that raping and murdering and pillaging is wrong and it's bad. So we don't allow that. Even though some people rape, pillage, and murder, right? But it's still...
I don't know about pillaging much anymore.
Yeah, but we still make that illegal. It's wrong. You can't do that. If you get caught, you get punished. Same thing. We should do that for all forms of additive.
Well, I think what if we make
you get punished. That's it.
I think we should make ecologically safe traction compound. Why not? Why can't we do that?
Just fucking forget the traction compound. If it's loose, then race on a loose track and adjust your car. That's how it should be.
I would disagree with you.
Why would you disagree with that?
Because it's just like, how are you supposed to police that stuff? How are you supposed to police it? Tell me how you're supposed to police it.
That people don't rape and murder? How do you police that?
Dude, at Neo Buggy, he had the source police. Do you think people didn't race it? Do you think that guy could honestly go around and sniff tires and feel tires and know what's sauce and not sauce?
The fact that it's not allowed and there is source police means that 0.1% of people sourced.
Or you can be like, well, anchor.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at the Euro sourcing.
Yeah, and what happened? He was disqualified.
Yeah, he was disqualified. All right. Geoff Ranny RC. What's up, G-Spec? He says, should there be a tire limit similar to F1 for bigger races to help keep participant costs down? Well, I know a race that did do that, but I'm not going to say it.
For costs, so to control tire costs, in my opinion, the only way is to come up with some sort of tire rule.
Or control tire.
And if it's controlled tire, then you also would have to limit the quantity. Because if you only have control, it doesn't solve the problem. Because then if a new set is faster, then someone can just buy a new set for every run.
I know.
No, that's not good either. So if it's controlled tire, then it needs to be, the quantity needs to be controlled too. Maybe the cheapest possible form is that you only limit the quantity, but people can choose what tire they run. But then the problem with that is then people don't feel that it's fair. Maybe someone picked one, oh, this doesn't work, it's not so good now, and someone else has a better tire, you know. So you can never please everyone. So for simplicity, in my opinion, for smaller races that people don't travel to, the best option is most likely just leaving it free for 8-scale off-road at least, because people can run whatever they have, run what you brung, and it's for our tracks that we race on, it's not really that big of a deal. There are so many different tires that can work, and they tend to last long enough. Like you don't need to put new tires on every run. This is now 8-scale off-road. 10-scale, it's a bit different. Their tires are more critical. And
well, how did RC2 tire rule work? You had the control tire and you had a limited, and it was a set per day, correct?
Yeah, so with RC2, the thing is that that's a bigger race that people travel to. So I definitely think if you want to control costs, then for that kind of race, where you know that people are flying in internationally, nationally, but people are traveling to go to the race, then the best option, in my opinion, is a control tire, because everyone knows what to run. You make it affordable for them. There's a limit on how many. You don't need to bring extra bags of tires. You don't need to buy a bunch of tires in case they work. That's really the best way to do a race like that.
I agree. I'm all for control tire, or even having a control tire class maybe at one of these races. You know, make I don't know. I think they did it up in the Pacific Northwest.
In American races, it should be so that the pro class is open and then the non-pro class has a control tire, for example, because that would in the long run be cheaper for the people in the non-pro class. And the people who would cry about that are probably people who are sponsored. So I don't know.
Which is everybody.
They shouldn't really be running that class if they are sponsored, right?
Well, to be honest, I mean, what was the tire cost at RCGT? It was $40 in America, right? For a set of 4 pre-glued?
I think so. Pre-glued, yeah.
That's not bad. And like I said, most people, I think, use 2 for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, 2 sets of tires. 2 sets of freaking tires. And all that run time. That's amazing. Amazing. Actually, that's all the questions we have for this week, Josie.
Okay, so are we done?
Questions? No, we gotta do we do have a rant this week, but we do have to do the SCRC Dawn and Quiet segment. So you know what? Thank you everybody for sending in questions for the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Beach RC, for your support. Remember, people, showing the Beach RC some love shows the podcast some love. Click that affiliate link if you can. It's now time to go on to the SCRC Dawn and Quiet segment.
Sun City RC Raceway, the home of El Paso's world-famous motocross-inspired 8-scale off-road track. The Showers family has over 20 years' experience creating one of the premier tracks in the USA. Their world-class facility has everything: handicap accessibility, covered beds, skate starts, space for parking RVs, trailers, and lights for night racing. Follow SCRC on Facebook under Sun City RC Raceway for updates, upcoming races, or host your own race.
And thank you to Sun City RC Raceway, the Showers family, Joey. That's your best friend right there, Joseph. 2 Joeys.
Never heard of him.
Guys, yes, huh? What?
Never heard of him.
We got to get that picture where he's flipping you the bird. But I really love the Showers family. Shout out to Joey, Christian, and Corbin. Thank you guys for the support. If you are in the El Paso area, go give them a check because it is an awesome facility. So this week on the Sun City RC Raceway Down and Quiet segment, Joseph, I'm going to touch on something that you did a few weeks ago on the podcast, and on your YouTube channel, which was about image and professionalism. So I saw something from PNB this week that I really liked, and it's good to get different people. We have different younger people with different minds into positions where we can affect change. But I'm going to add this, and it's something as simple as this. This is Kyle Neary, the Ginger Ninja. He's also he's like a DJ and all this stuff. So and he's also into the motocross stuff. And he's DJ'd with some of the biggest DJs in the world. And he's been the guy that's following Cole around and doing his videos for him, you know. And I've always said that Cole should embrace that Southern cowboy type of look. But I just want to talk about these shirts. Yes, JQ Racing has made nice shirts for many years. I see your point. But it's good to see things like this. I really like these shirts. I was talking to Kyle. He says they come from HK Army, which is, they do paintball shirts, esports shirts. This is what it reminds me of, esports. This is what esports looks like. Okay, I don't know if I would personally wear a shirt like this, but I like them. I like Cole's shirt. I like his shirt. Why aren't these companies making their drivers look like this? Or at least somewhat professional? Because I think this is great. The only thing that was kind of bad was that it was cold, so Cole couldn't really wear his shirt on the driver's stand. But I like this idea. And yeah, look, I'm wearing a black t-shirt. We always wear black t-shirts. I know things get dirty, but look at this shirt. It's comfortable, it's light, it's colorful, it's like, it makes you look at this person and say, that guy must be a professional of some sort. Imagine wearing this through the airport. Like, people would like stop and ask you for your autograph. So, image, Joseph. You're right.
People will stop and ask if you have autism.
Wow, people do that to you, literally. People do that after watching you for 5 minutes. So something's definitely up. But I like this. I like this forward-thinking image. Well, we got Cole with the mullet, his long hair and beard, and you know he's wild. He's the wild guy, and he's got a shirt, and he rocked it. And I just don't see why we can't have more pros. Okay, the only thing I would add is maybe wear some proper trousers or something. But you know, blue jeans work. I always wondered too. You always insisted that we had to wear black pants and all that type of stuff. But I like this, and I think we need to see more of this. What do you think? I know what you think. Hello?
Yeah, I've already covered this so many times.
But this is just something simple, man. Something simple. And let's be honest, if a spectator came into this race and it's matching his body too. I just noticed that. Oh, that's really badass. I didn't realize.
How did you just notice that?
Because I've just saw that he changed his ID.
You're so lost.
If a spectator came in and saw this, I think they would go up to these guys and think they're professionals and go talk to them. They'll go talk to these guys before they go talk to some of these other guys in their hoodies and stuff like that, I would think. So just a little thing for the Dawn and Quiet segment this week. This little things like this make a difference. Little things like this. In fact, I want to find out how I can get shirts made for my trip like this. Maybe not as bright as this, but definitely the material, the style, I like it. I can't say that I haven't done that. I got my JQ shirt up here. But here's something for people to think. Like, this is what we should do. Do you have any more pictures to add? Yeah. See? What's the difference here? Let's bring it up.
Let's go over this in case someone hasn't seen it already. Just easy, okay? What looks better if we really want to be on TV, like someone said? Okay, this. Mm-hmm. Burn these images into your memory. This is normal. This is us. This is who we are normally. Trash can, big mess. Look at that. Who's this? Does he fly drones professionally? And and this.
Wow, I have much to say about that last guy.
Do you see a difference here in the presentation? Small thing, but I mean, look at that. You see a difference?
Well, of course. Treat it professionally and big, and people will take it professionally and big.
Yeah.
Little things. I like that. I like the shirts. I saw that. I like it. And I just thought I had to talk about it. And that's it. Nothing really else to say about that, man. Nothing at all. Anyway, Joseph, anything to add to that before we go on? Because we're going to go into the Tekno main interview of Jack Barker of Endgame BattleBots 2020 champion.
We're done. I'll see you.
Alrighty. See you later.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Tekno Takeover.
So as you guys know, on the No Name RC podcast, we are into everything that is RC. So a few weeks ago, I was talking with the JQ Racing Canada guys, who is Chuck and Wade and Curtis and Jeff and all these crazy Canadians that I've gotten to know. They're really good guys. And they kept mentioning this guy, Jack Barker and BattleBots. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Because apparently this guy raced with them, but he's also the 2020 or 2021 BattleBots champion, I believe. So I said, look, I would like to talk to this guy. This stuff interests me. And Chuck set it up. So thank you, Chuck DeBellin. I appreciate that. And welcome, Jack Barker, man. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
So, all right, we got to start. Like, I am absolutely new to this stuff, as I'm sure a lot of the people that listen to this podcast are as well. So let's just start out with you. Like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm originally from New Zealand. So I grew up in New Zealand and started racing, radio control cars when I was 6 or 7. So I did that for 3 or 4 years till I was, sort of in starting high school, and then just kind of stopped that. But yeah, kind of moved into fighting robots as I was going through university, and ended up in Canada for a couple of years and ended up racing with the guys over there. So that's kind of how I got into the sport again. Yeah.
Do you remember what your first RC car is? I always like to know that.
It was I think it was a HPI Sprint, racing indoors. Yeah. Just the first one. I think there's 2 of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Just an old school one. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Funny enough, we have a pretty big following of the podcast now in New Zealand. Mark Johnson is one of our JQ dealers, so I'm pretty familiar with. They just had a nationals there too. It was a really beautiful track, and it's just cool. I want to go there one day. It's a beautiful country, and I hope to visit there one day. They're in Australia. I want to go. So that's pretty cool. Did you do any racing when you was younger, or was just bashing and having fun?
Yeah, when I was younger, I did race. We had an indoor club in Auckland. We still do, actually. So I was kind of going a 6-year-old, going over the barriers and smashing into everyone. So that was me for a couple of years. It was good fun. Yeah. Okay. My brother used to do it as well. So it was a little bit of a family thing. Dad would come along, and it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. It's pretty big there. Like I said, my buddy Mark, he fills me in on there. You saw this track, man. It was beautiful, very beautiful setting. You saw the mountains in the out. I think it's blind something. I can't remember the last. I should have had prepared for this, but I didn't. So yeah, good stuff, man. So when did you kind of move to Canada then? And did you go to university in Canada, or how did that happen?
Yeah, no, I went to university in Auckland. So I'm a software engineer, so I write code for a living. And I moved to Canada for work. So I moved over there sort of the end of 2018.
Okay.
And then after a year or so, I was doing fighting robot stuff, but to do that, the sort of club is down in Seattle. There's no one in Vancouver, so I had to travel a lot. So when the pandemic sort of hit, I couldn't do that anymore. And they weren't doing anything. And that's when I thought, I think, RC racing is going to be good fun. I should get back into that. So that's when I picked up a secondhand car and started to meet the Vancouver guys, which was awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you racing? Touring car, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one I picked up was a electric 1/10. So I was raced that for a couple of meetings and saw the Nitro guys and thought that looks way too cool. So had to get started in that too. Yeah. So much to learn. I feel like there's just so much to learn in Nitro. Yeah.
Well, on this podcast, Nitro is the glory. So e-buggy pays the bills. So we're kind of pro Nitro here because we think it's the #1 class, and we're glad that you found the glory because it's awesome. But 10 scale touring cars really fast. We've had Bruno Coelho. He's done it, and I had Alexander Hagberg on there. He's been a world champion in it and stuff like that. It's impressively fast how fast 10 scale Nitro is. Oh, and then you go up to 8 scale, which is just a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I am interested. We're going to talk more about your racing later on because I want to see how it compares to BattleBots. But man, this is completely new to me. Okay, you know what?
I'm glad new people are learning about it.
So I think we should just go ahead and watch your final, which I found on YouTube, and you can kind of walk me through this, because I think you guys have everything that we want in RC. You guys have it. All right, man. If you guys are listening to this in audio, you should watch this on YouTube, and then go find out the BattleBots, because it's really, really cool. And man, it does not look like those things are that big.
Yeah, I think the TV makes them look a lot smaller than they actually are. But if you imagine them sort of 1.2 meters wide, like you start to get a bit of a scale, and the weapon is 2 inches thick, and 20 kilograms of steel. So yeah, that big. Yeah, a lot of energy in them.
So just curious, how many rounds, how many fights did it take to get to this final?
So the final was our 8th fight. We had to do 3 sort of preliminary fights. So sort of like the NFL, I think, and other sports, you have like a preseason and like a postseason.
Okay.
So we had like 3 preseason fights where we'd fight teams that the people making the show wanted us to fight. And if you win them, you fight harder teams next time, for example. And then at the end of that, they rank everyone, and the top 32 will go into the main tournament. Yeah. And knockout tournament to the final. Yeah.
So how long does the tournament take?
We filmed the whole thing in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
From the preliminary rounds to tournament. Yeah. I think so. 8 fights in 2 weeks, and the actual tournament itself was done. That was 4 fights over like 4 days. So pretty much you get your robot smacked around, and then you come back, and then you just got to fix it straight away. We're doing sort of 15-hour days. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
So you can change your weaponry and different stuff. So do you guys use something else besides the spinny thing? Like I see some guys have hammers. I've seen flamethrowers, and I don't know if that's in this one, but so rules wise, there's not really any rules about what you can change or can't change. For us, our weapon is always the same. We have like 2 different weights of weapons though. We have a heavy one and a light one. So we run the light one when we need more armor. And our main configuration is the front armor. So when we're versing a big robot that's spinning horizontally, like for example, Tombstone, it's one of the most famous ones. It's a big, huge horizontal spinner. We put a lot of armor on the front and a wedge, and that's really heavy. So like we swap little things out and we configure the robot, but our team doesn't change the weapon. There are teams that do, like change between a hammer and a spinner, for example. But yeah, we think the spinners are the best, so there's no reason it looks
to change
be.
Yeah.
And then just getting under them and flipping them over. What are some of the other crazy weapons that people use? Yeah,
so obviously we're in a class of vertical spinner, so we're spinning steel upwards. People spin them horizontally, spin the other way. Some people have big hammers, saws that come down. There's a really good one that made the top 4 this year, actually top 8, called Hydra. They're really cool. So they've got a big hydraulic flipper. So they have a hydraulic system in the robot that pressurizes and launches the robot into the air. So they can throw a robot 13, 14 feet in the air just by getting underneath them, which it's absolutely insane to see. Yeah, definitely recommend looking up some of their fights. So yeah, I mean, there's essentially no rules about what you can and can't do.
Okay.
The only rules are based around what makes good TV, right? So like you can't have an EMP, because if the robots just die, then that's no fun, and you can't have things like water because it fouls the arena. So, but aside from that, it's very like an open creative design field, so you can do whatever you like. Yeah.
So, man, I have to ask, do you guys get paid to do this? Do you make money off this? I'm sure you get asked that a lot.
Yeah, I wish I could say we got paid to do it. So there's some compensation from the show for sure. So they'll ship all of our stuff. So we ship about 1,900 pounds worth of gear from New Zealand, and they air freight it all across. So that's 3 robots worth of stuff, all our tools, basically anything we need to run the robot, they'll ship across for us. And they'll get us there and pay for all our travel and accommodation, food while we're there. But aside from that, the only sort of compensation you'll get is from winning fights, and that's even then I'm not allowed to disclose how much you win and stuff, because it's part of our contract. But it's not enough to sustain a team.
Okay.
So it's sort of like 10% of what you need to run a team for a year, sort of thing.
Now, are people doing
Yeah.
side bets on the side and stuff like that? I assume they are.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Definitely in our team, we're like, we don't really bet, but we kind of like have little wagers against each other about who we think's going to win each fight. Because we get to see it live. We don't have to wait till it comes out on TV.
Right,
so
right.
we're there watching it live. So we're like, oh, we think this robot's going to win that, and then when it doesn't, you're like, okay. You know, we learn from that. We learn from watching other people as well. So I don't know. I've never heard of anyone betting money on it. Yeah.
Dude,
Hopefully that's the future. Yeah.
Dude, they had this race. No prep drag racing's really big in RC right now. And they had a race called King of the Streets in Las Vegas about a month ago. And the winner went home with $18K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. Yeah.
Everybody paid $100. And like people literally if you lost, you was out. So that guy had a
just
race
knock
like
out all the way, was it?
Yeah. That was pretty cool. That's really big in my genre of RC right now. So I gotta ask, all right, so how many people on your team? Is there a limit, and what purpose does each person have?
Yeah, well, our team's got 6 people this year. I think the rules say you're allowed 5, but everybody brings a little bit more than that. So I wouldn't want to push it too much further than that. So on our team, we've got Nick, who I talked about before. He's our captain. He does a lot of the design. He's very, very smart with mechanical engineering and manufacturing. So, and he also works for a company that has something like 17 half CNC mills that he can use to build these robots. So he does heaps of the manufacturing. And whereas, you know, without him, we'd be pretty stuck on the manufacturing front. And then I'm on the team, obviously. So I do driving and a lot of the strategy and design, geometry and stuff for the front end is where I normally find myself these days. Also got my brother on the team. He's not so involved with the design and stuff, but he's very, very helpful when we're at the event and assembling things. So his specialty was the weapon system. So between every fight, we pull the robot completely apart, and we all have our own little specialty. So we strip every single bolt out. We look at it, make sure it's not bent, there's no cracks, completely right down to the ground. So his specialty was the weapon system. He'd take it away, completely strip it down, and completely, like, I don't know if you've seen like Top Fuel drag racing, like between each race, they come and strip the whole engine down and rebuild it. It's the same thing with BattleBots. You got to completely rebuild everything in between. Yeah.
How long does that take?
It depends. It'll take as much time as you've got. So at most we'd have a day. At least we might have 4 hours. But either way, we'll completely pull it apart and get it back together in that time. Yeah.
And then
it's
the
a
other
big,
people
it's
on
a
the
big
team?
job.
The other 3 people?
Yeah. So we have Shane, who's an electronics specialist. So he designs all our control systems. So we do run. You're going to laugh so hard at the electronics we run, man. But we're running like on our drive system. We're running like Simon K. I don't know if you know the firmware. Anyway, it's like 10 years old, sensorless, brushless sort of stuff.
Okay.
Because we just find it's the most reliable way. Like we've tried sensors on our brushless drive, and the sensors can break and hit because there's so much shock. You know, we're recording over 200 Gs when we hit someone, so we don't want anything fragile in there. So he's very good at the electronics, sort of firmware, redundancy in electronics and stuff like that. So he's very good at that. And then we have Emma and Devin, and they're more assembly role like Steve was. So at the event, before the event, sort of hands-on building and putting the robot back together. Yeah.
So I saw some people have maybe 2 drivers, or I saw one. I think I saw another fight. By the way, their team's called Endgame. By the way, I forgot to say that.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, I will. I will follow you on Instagram too. I saw one team you fought on a previous fight. They had pistol grips. It was a female and stuff like that. You guys seem to do everything off one control, I believe.
Yeah. So we've actually got one transmitter, but we hook in another, like it's a VIX controller, so it's kind of like an Xbox controller. So we've wired the potentiometers from that up to the actual transmitter. So I'll drive with the sort of Xbox sort of style controller, the actual wheels and stuff, and then Nick, the captain, will do the weapon. So it's quite complicated because we have things like we can turn one weapon motor off and switch between them for if they get too hot or one breaks. So he's doing that sort of stuff, and I don't need to think about that. I just know the weapon's going to be running, and I just need to work out where the robot will go and the best positioning for it. So so we do split the jobs. Yeah.
So you guys obviously have to practice somehow for this, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so. How many channels are we talking about here? Servers, motors, batteries, all this
yeah.
type of stuff.
So we have 4 drive motors, all on separate channels.
Okay.
And then our 2 weapon motors, again, on separate channels, so that's up to 6. And then we have our self-riding arm, so that's the 7th channel. That being said, we have 7 channels, but we have 14 receivers. So each motor and ESC has 2 receivers on it for redundancy. So we can one of the receivers can die and it'll switch across automatically. And we also, it's all isolated power systems. So every single one has its own battery. It's all separated. Yeah. Yeah.
What? That's a lot of electronics. What servers and receivers? What are you guys using mostly? Like what type of stuff?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to check with Shane, but I'm pretty sure we're running the FR Sky sort of receivers.
Okay.
And yeah. And he's got the special little board that takes 2 receivers and does switching between them. So whichever one has like the latest update, we'll use that. So it means if one has a better signal than the other, or if one fails, then we don't actually lose any functionality on the robot. And luckily this year we had 1 failure, so it did save us in 1 fight. Yeah.
How about batteries? What are you using for batteries for this?
Lithium batteries. So we have our drive batteries. Well, all of our batteries are supplied by Max Amps.
Okay.
Not our sponsor. Hopefully they will be one day. But
they should be.
Yeah, they should be. Would like them to be. But yeah, we find the Max Amp batteries are great. Like they can catch fire and continue running. Like that's the main thing we want from our stuff. Like we don't care if they're on fire.
Use?
We have 1 for each drive motor. So they're 1300 milliamp 10S. And then our weapon one is it's 10,000 milliamp 12S. So that's how big we're running. Yeah. It's a lot of battery. Yeah.
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 Max Amps, what's up with you guys? You guys, they're really Tim Smith, he's really big in the drag world. He used to work for them, or not work for them, but he's very much sponsored by them. And their batteries aren't cheap either. So they're really good batteries though.
They're good batteries, and they do custom shapes for us. So when we got to fit them in a tight spot, they'll jimmy the cells around and stuff like that. So all of our batteries are sort of custom shapes as well, which is good. Yeah, I mean they're a good company, even though they don't sponsor us. I'd recommend them. So
I mean, but you guys have to have some sort of sponsorship to do this from companies.
Yeah. For some context, it costs us about 48,000 USD a year to run our team. That's how much we spent last year. So we do have some sponsors, like the University of Auckland sponsors us. They give us some money and some support, as well as a couple of engineering companies in New Zealand, Tunnel and Civil, Steelmasters. So without them, we would be absolutely dead in the water. We can't afford to shell that out every year, unfortunately. But that being said, I mean, we still have a lot of it that isn't covered. So we're always looking for more.
Oh, no. I mean, you shouldn't even be paying for batteries as far as I'm concerned. You guys are getting this on television. I mean, you're getting this on television. You have charisma. You have everything that I want in RC racing. So let's go, Max Amps. Sponsor these guys. What about, well, how does one, is there a template for these robots, or is it just like
for like getting started, or
like how would I want to get started? I mean, I doubt it, but this is way above my pay scale, but I would love to drive one. I guess how does one build a bot like this? Like, where does it start?
Yeah. So normally people will start sort of in smaller robots. So the ones on the TV show are 250 pounds. They're real big. They take a lot of money, a lot of effort. And you really need to have some experience to get one of them to work, because nothing is plug and play. Nothing works off the shelf. So most people will start sort of in the 3 pound class. So a lot smaller. So you can find events like that. Pretty much most cities will have them. Toronto has them. Seattle has them. Boston has them. Auckland has them. So that's really where most people will get started. So, and you can learn a lot of, I mean, if people are coming from RC, then they'll know a lot of the skills already, because, soldering and stuff like that, but a lot of the manufacturing and electronic skills are transferable between the different classes. So it's a lot cheaper to get started on the small scale. And there's some kits you can start with as well. But yeah, and then once people
get a market, like somewhere you can buy stuff, and people have to be producing parts and stuff like this for this.
Yeah,
race?
yeah. For the smaller sort of scale, I think
Mhm.
like Fingertech Robotics, a Canadian company, supply a lot of the world's sort of parts.
Okay.
So they're real great. They supply motors and kits and materials and stuff like that, which are sort of the right sort of scale. Um, but yeah, so once people start building smaller ones, they start kind of moving through the ranks. Like we have featherweight, which is 30 pounds, and then we have. I don't think there's any events for the middleweights anymore. So
Mhm.
basically, you go from the 30 pounds to the 250 pounds, and it's always a big jump. Yeah, yeah.
And you was telling me there's some sort of underground fight club or something for BattleBots, like that you kind of cut your teeth on, or something similar, like an underground BattleBots
Um,
rink or something like that.
yeah, I don't know if I call it underground, but
Right.
I think that the local events are a bit underground. It's not the big
Okay.
production of BattleBots, yeah. So like, you can pretty much find one anywhere. Like we've been to China to compete. That was kind of underground. A bit different. Definitely not the same sort of production level as or safety levels as
I'm
BattleBots
sure.
was. But it was good fun. Like that was our first heavyweight we took over to China, and we won that tournament, which got us an invitation to BattleBots and kind of put us on the radar. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So
I
yeah.
guess what do you need to do? I mean, obviously you guys have a big like arena with plexiglass, and in
Mhm.
case things go crazy. Do these? I get the underground ones aren't as safe as this, but like how would I've seen the smaller ones as well, and
Mhm.
I guess like for me, if I went to one of these underground, would it be like underground fight club where everybody's around and it's a battling and there's no safety, or is it like
No.
is it some sort of organization?
Yeah, it's I'd say it's very organized.
Okay.
I don't think there's anybody out there doing it unsafe at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Like for example, the arena that we fight the 3 pound ones in New Zealand in,
Mhm.
that's surrounded by 6 mil polycarbonate. So
Okay.
that's pretty strong. It's sort of
Yeah.
bulletproof glass, So I'd be very surprised if anything went wrong and escaped that arena. At the 3 pound level, you would
Mhm.
definitely wouldn't put anything bigger in it. So, and I think the online community is generally very good at calling people out when they're doing something unsafe.
I'm sure.
So it annoys me a little bit because I think it stops new people getting into the sport. But
Mhm.
every day I'll see someone being like, "Yo, you need the way you tested your robot was like unsafe. Like you shouldn't be doing that." So I think the general consensus is safety first. Yeah,
Yeah, I would.
yeah.
These are big, like that. Even at 3 ponds and flinging metal
Mhm.
and all that stuff, I could get it. I could get it. I can
Yeah,
dig it.
yeah.
How big is this, dude? How many people are doing this worldwide?
That's a really, really good question. I would love to know the answer.
Okay.
I mean, I know that we have a Facebook group called Combat Robotics that a lot of the builders worldwide in, but I know there's so many that aren't as well, and we have about
Mhm.
10,000 people in that group.
Okay.
So that's ranging people running sort of from 1 pound all the way up to the 250 pounds sort of scale. So there's thousands of people doing it, and the sort of the viewership for BattleBots is in the millions. So I think that's a lot higher than actually participation. Yeah, yeah.
Is this streamed or is it on like mainstream television?
It's on Discovery Channel, so you can catch it Thursday nights when it's on.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
So yeah.
I've seen like this has been around for many years. It seems to come and go.
Mhm, mhm.
For me anyway. That's what I've seen
Oh,
it, and I'm
it
like, oh,
does come
that's
and go.
cool.
Yeah.
Like, how
Mhm.
does one just say, "Hey, I got all this leftover money. Let's hire an ex-UFC guy," and we're all nerds at the end of the day. We'll get a bunch of nerds
Yeah,
and we're gonna
yeah.
make these
Mhm.
robot guys fight and make it awesome. You even have that guy, the announcer, his like
Mhm.
rhyming and all that type of stuff. And
Yeah.
how does let's talk us through the production value of this.
Yeah, yeah. So BattleBots has been produced by the same people since 2000, for
Okay.
20 years. So they did a 5-year run in the 2000s, and then they did
Mhm.
2 years on ABC. Then they had a year off, and then they've done 3 years on Discovery Channel now. So they've bounced around a bit, but
Okay.
it's been the same people kind of pushing it the whole time. So for them, I think like for them to do it, it costs so much. They need backing of a TV company.
Mhm.
Or someone like Netflix would be able to do it too. So without the TV show aspect, it just doesn't happen because it's so expensive.
Right.
So I think honestly, when they decided to do it on ABC, they went, we've got this contract, we got this money, like what are we going to do with it, and what's the best way to spend it? So I think I love having Chris and Kenny, the commentators, and Farouk, the ring announcer. Like they just add so much to the show.
I agree.
it's totally different when you're watching it without their commentary. So I think they did so good getting them in.
Now,
Yeah.
do they encourage you guys to be charismatic and maybe even have rivalries and stuff like that?
I think by nature, because they get to pick who is on the show, they pick people who are a little bit more charismatic than wouldn't be otherwise. They don't like say like, hey, we want you to have a rivalry with this team. But when that, for example, they might use like 2 minutes of an interview, but you've done like an hour's worth of interview. So they can take bits and pieces and what they want and create a story around it. So what you see on the show isn't always sort of what happened storyline wise, but they make a good show, so we let them do it.
Now, where were these teams from? You guys represented New Zealand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where were the other teams from, like roughly?
Yeah, we're from New Zealand. Normally there'd be about 20 international teams, but this year there was only 4. Okay. So we had New Zealand, a team from Brazil, a team from the UK, and a team from Canada. So that was the 4 international ones. Everybody else was from the States. A lot of teams in California, a lot of teams in Florida, and a lot of teams in sort of Boston. So that are like the 3 hubs.
Really?
For BattleBots at the moment, yeah.
Boston, California has always been a hub for everything cool.
Yeah.
And Florida's like the East Coast California with alligators and crazy snakes and everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I call Florida Flaustralia. And then Boston seems weird though. Why is it so popular in Boston, you think?
I think because MIT and WPI are there. So there's like 4 or 5 teams that have kind of stemmed out of like the university clubs.
Okay.
So yeah, I think basically wherever these sort of minds gather and people are into it. I mean, a lot of the teams come from universities, like the Florida ones as well. They started doing this in university because it's a great sort of project and it's a great thing to do with your kind of students, So I think there's quite a few schools doing it, and then from there, the people who are really into it kind of go on and create their own teams. So yeah.
So who's your biggest nemesis then in the world? who's the guys who are the top teams? Obviously, you guys are the champions, 2020 champions, right? Or not 2021. So who's next after you guys?
Yeah, I think the 2019 champion wasn't there this year, so I think the whole internet wants us to face him on our first fight next year to see who really would have won 2020. So that's Bite Force.
Right.
So Bite Force has won 4 titles in its time. Well, the builder has, so he's very, very good. He's won the 2 years previous to 2020. So he's a similar design to Endgame, vertical spinner, and like I was talking before about how we get underneath people to hit them and kind of do our damage. He kind of did that before anyone else. So he was getting underneath people, and then we kind of came this year because we thought he was coming. We came with all our secrets this year. Like we were like, we're gonna show up with all the stuff to beat Bite Force. And he wasn't there. So now he's seen all our secrets. So we need to think of some more ones before next year. So he'll be
Where's he
in
from?
the off-season contract. He's from California. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was filmed where actually? In New Zealand or in the States?
This was filmed in California, Long Beach. Okay. Yeah. So we left our COVID safe haven to go fight robots. So
I mean, I'm about to go in May. I'm about to travel to Vegas and then go to California afterwards for a week. So I love California, man. This is like I'm so amazed at this stuff. And I'm glad I got to talk to you about it because now we know like the inside scoop on it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you think this could go mainstream, and do you think you guys can do this for a living or what?
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love to if we could. Our viewership is sort of matching sort of NASCAR, IndyCar sort of thing. So I think long term it is possible. There's a lot of restrictions placed on the teams though from the production company about who we can get to sponsor us and things like that. So I think maybe one day if we can get those sort of things lifted, we'll be able to get some more income and have like sort of more professional teams. But that is the dream. I think everybody doing it is that's the goal. Yeah. Okay. And I think it's possible.
Yeah. I would have to compare this to drones and the popularity of drones being on ESPN and whatnot. A little bit different because it's just individual people flying. It needs way more space, but it does and it doesn't, but they make it exciting. But it seems like drones went really popular, really mainstream. But then again, I guess the ease of everybody can get a drone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes tinkering and skill to do this, what you're doing. I would call this more like what we do in racing. Like it's hard. Like racing's hard and it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money.
Yeah.
And this is very similar, it seems to me.
Yeah, I think you touched on a good point there. The trouble with going mainstream is that accessibility, right? You know, sports are popular because every kid can go out and play the sport. And then they watch their heroes do it, you know. So if we need to get to a point where the sort of local competitions are so accessible that people can just go out and do it. And then I think we can start building a bit of a gathering. Yeah, and it's you're totally right. It's very similar to RC racing. Like I think from what I learned, you know, in my short time racing RC, you know, setup and stuff is so important. And the engineering side of it is absolutely so important. And that's definitely like taking the engineering skills and actually like strategy and things like that is what makes or breaks a robot. Yeah.
Well, and racing's hard too. It takes practice.
Yeah.
And you know, you can have all the best things in racing and you still might not have talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I find a lot in our community and our industry. All right, well, so let's say I wanted to get started with this. How much could I expect to spend on a 3-pound or like get into this 1-pound vehicle? Or like, I'm sure there's kits out there that we can get and stuff like that. But what am I looking at here?
Yeah, so if you wanted to get started, you'd be looking at and maybe the 1-pound class if you want to start with a kit. Fingertech has a Viper kit, which has been kind of the standard beginner kit for many years now. So that runs you about $400, and you'll get everything you need from motors, transmitters, receivers, you know, ESCs to get started. Really? And that's a really basic sort of platform for you to get started on. And there's a bit of weight left over, so you can add your own weapon and things like that. And getting started in the beta weight class, there are kits available. One of the top kits is called the D2 kit. I absolutely hate them. Because they're too good, and you go to an event and there's 7 D2 kits and you have to beat all of them to win. Really? But it's like a 4-wheel drive wedge robot.
Okay.
And it's very, very popular in sort of newcomers and the 3-pound class. So that one runs you about $800 to get started.
It's still relatively cheaper than 8-scale racing.
Oh, like 8-scale is just expensive.
Well, tires and all that type of stuff. And whatnot, motors. But it seems like people can just go now how hard is it for me to find a place to go do this?
Yeah, really, I think it really depends on where you are and if there's sort of a well-established sort of scene. But there's websites around that have all the local events. CombatRoboticsEvents.com has basically all the events in the world. So if you can find one there that's within, you know, an hour's drive, you're doing good. And they're not every 2 weeks. Like when I was racing touring car, we were racing every 2 weeks, sometimes every week, you know. Right. It might be once every 2 months sort of thing. Like it's harder to find events for sure. But I think that's because of the sort of barrier to get to the event and entry, and often you'll have to rebuild things after and between events. So yeah, no time for that.
Do you have to do you guys do like auto? I've always had this dream, right? For RC racing. I want to have like a factory row and the guys see how you guys got your uniforms and stuff like that, where we get spectators in and people can, you know, come stop, see their cars. They can I will always like motocross, you know, you go and they sign paper, sign a poster. Do you guys do stuff like that too? Yeah, we do. Previous years when we had a crowd, often after our fight, we'd go out and sort of meet people, take photos, you know, sign posters and things like that. And when we go to smaller events, the same sort of thing happens. Especially, events in New Zealand, we always take in-game. And events overseas, we don't take in-game, but people will come and say hello and stuff. And then there's a big event for heavyweights in Florida. And last year they did like a special VIP sort of night where they had all the BattleBots teams and people would come and you could like talk to them and stuff like that. So we do have that sort of thing. But I think everybody who's sort of at the top level of sport is also kind of in the grassroots of it as well. So you'll find all of us fighting the smaller robots, you know, in the off season. So we're pretty approachable. Right. Yeah. So how many times do you guys travel and fight? Like in a normal year, no COVID, like what are we looking at here?
We'd go to, I think our sort of before COVID, we go to BattleBots every year for a couple of years. We've only been doing this for 4 years, so
Okay.
like the normal, we're still defining the normal. And then we've been to China 3 times, Australia twice, so we'd travel 2 or 3 times a year for this. You know, if a tournament wants us to come and they want to pay for us to come, we'll be there. You know,
Okay.
so we'll go. And then we love going to Australia and beating up the Aussies, so we go there as well.
You guys definitely have beef. The New Zealand guys and the Aussies. Definitely some beef going on there.
Oh yeah.
So how about Europe, man? Is Europe not into this at all? Or
Oh,
I haven't heard you
Europe
mention
is
it.
so into it.
Okay.
So Europe, they had like USA had BattleBots, UK had Robot Wars back in the day. So that kind of kickstarted sort of the whole sort of worldwide scene. So the Europe scene's huge. They run basically the only place to fight the 250-pound robots in North America is BattleBots, or this little event in Florida, which happens once a year. In the UK and in Europe, there's events that happen sort of every month for heavyweights. So and that rolls around the country. It's sort of like a live show. So there's a lot of opportunity to fight robots over there, and they're very good at it too. You know, all the robots over there are different because they have different arenas, different rules and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see them come to BattleBots and see how they sort of interact. Yeah.
What now you got me peaked. What makes their robots different from you guys?
So in the UK, because they have so many events, they have limits on how much power weapons can have, for example.
Okay.
And so if we took in-game over to the UK to compete, we would have to run at about a third power on the weapon, just because for safety reasons, I don't think the arena's quite up to the same standards as BattleBots, for example, and B, they don't want all the robots getting absolutely destroyed every time because they want them to come back in a month. So that kind of leans itself towards other designs like flipping robots, and the arenas are sort of have a lot of more out zones. Like BattleBots has got 1 or 2, but the UK ones you can throw them out anywhere, sort of thing. So there's a lot of flippers. They're very, very good at flipping over there, and not so much spinning. So the sort of meta game is different depending on where you go. Yeah.
Okay. Who's the top European team then?
I'd say the Cobalt team would probably be the top guys. So they've won Robot Wars. They won a show in China as well, and they've been to BattleBots and did very well. So they're good guys and they're great builders. Yeah.
You know, this kind of reminds me. Do you remember when UFC started back in the 90s? I don't know how old you are, but
born 95. So
okay, so like in the early 90s, they started out in UFC and they had like some karate guy versus this guy and this different art versus this guy was no holds barred, and then it kind of just mismatched, and then you had Royce Gracie that came in. He was like jiu-jitsu, and he just this small guy beat all these guys, and then eventually UFC turned into a mixed martial art. Yeah, and it seems BattleBots is kind of like, I remember back in the day, maybe I'm crazy, but I remember these robots having flamethrowers and all these different crazy, like the more extravagant it was. So back when I kind of first saw this back in the day, like you said, this started in 2000. I remember seeing this. I just remember seeing crazy robots with these crazy designs and weapons. And it seems like now it's streamlined, like how UFC went from some guy who knew karate versus now MMA is actual art. So many different type of forms of fighting, ground fighting, wrestling. You have to be well-rounded, to be like this. And it seems like this is the curve that BattleBots is now. You guys know what works. You ain't got to have something crazy and stuff like that. I'm sure somebody will always evolve. But I mean, you guys you're more mainstream than what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? And I think it's exciting. It's like Gladiators, so people can get into that, and it's Gladiators with radio controlled. And I love anything radio controlled. So this is what gets me excited. What do you think the future holds for you guys? What do you hope? What do you think? What do you want to see happen with what's going on? You guys are in a good spot right now, but it like you said, it can be a lot better.
Yeah. So it definitely has evolved over the last sort of 20 years, man. Like just the amount of energy that things are stored now, and the sort of technology that people are using, and the material changes that have happened in the last 20 years have been absolutely insane. So I think it's all sort of leading edge stuff. It's going to keep going. We're going to see basically, if there's new materials out there, there'll be a BattleBots team using it. If there's new motor technology out there, there'll be a BattleBots team trying to use it. So I'm so excited. Like, we're the first team to win with brushless motors, for example. Everybody
Really?
else has used brush just because it's been so reliable in the past, and it takes so much effort to get sort of new stuff working. So we're leading the way there. But yeah, I'm really hoping to see sort of the tech that, you know, is being produced for RC racing, like, you know, the efficiencies and stuff that people are coming up with. I'd love to see that kind of come across and implemented in what we do as well. So yeah, I'd love to. What I really love about it is the engineering side and the sort of innovation side. I love to be doing new things. I hate to be doing the same thing as other people. So I really hope that the other teams are the same. So everybody's doing, you know, new stuff and learning things and being able to take those things elsewhere as well. Yeah.
So what's next for Endgame here? Do we have any more matches coming up this year, or how does this work?
Yeah, so the whole of last season's one is finished airing. We don't have any more matches, unfortunately. We are back home redesigning now. So every single part that we had last year, can't use again because it's all been damaged. So we'll be completely redesigning, rebuilding again. The in-game that we bring to the next tournament will look very similar, but there'll be a lot of changes to it, I think. Yeah. So we'll be completely restarting pretty much. Yeah.
Where did Endgame come from? Who came with that name?
Oh, I gave it the name. It's named after the Taylor Swift song. Yeah.
Oh man, I just think this is so cool. Do you embrace this a lot? Do you get into like a different Jack Barker and become Jack Barker, the BattleBot guy?
I don't think so. I think I've always been into this sort of stuff. So it's sort of my sort of scene, you know, and robots and RC stuff. So it's been good. Like I think the me you see on TV is pretty close. They like to take their liberties a little bit, but yeah.
Do you have that one guy that is just like super obnoxious and like this is the type of guy I want in RC2, the guy who says he's gonna kick everybody's ass and take names no matter if he wins or loses? Do you have a character like that?
We do. Ray Billings from Tombstone. He's like that on camera, but honestly, offline, he's like so lovely. So, but he's a fantastic villain online. Yeah.
That's what we need, man. Like wrestling, you need a heel and you need a face.
And he's the heel. He's the heel of the show for sure. Yeah.
People get invested in that. In that. So hey, I'm going to Vegas in California here in May. Is there any place that I can go see any of this, you think, in that time?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a Vegas Robotics Club, Vegas Combat Robotics. They'll probably be hosting events. They also have a heavyweight called Jackpot, which they ran last year at BattleBots. So maybe you could go visit them and see what they're doing. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, hey, Jack Barker sent me over here. He said, Endgame rules the world, and come over here and say that to you guys. And,
do it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna video it if I do it.
Yeah. No, Jeff and I are good mates, so I'm sure I'd be happy to show you around if you wanted to have a look. Yeah.
Yeah, and in California, so I'll be in SoCal, Long Beach area for a week as well. So I'm really excited to see some of this in person, or at least see one.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many teams in California, so basically you can pick a BattleBots team and they'll probably be in California. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to talk before I go. All right. RC racing. Let's touch on that real quick. So you what are you racing right now? Are you doing any racing there in New Zealand, or is this just in Canada when you do it?
Yeah, I've been down to the New Zealand Nitro touring car track once. It's in a different city, so I got to fly down there. I went down just for a weekend, so that was awesome. I'm still very, very new, so I'm learning a lot. And the guys in Canada were so helpful in getting me running. John especially, kind of took me under his wing, and that was so nice of him. I went down to kind of our track in Christchurch, and the guys down there were lovely too. You know, I needed a bit of help on tuning different fuels and stuff, so they were happy as to get me going. Just because I think with Nitro, there's just so much to learn and so much to go wrong, and you got to get everything just perfect, which is what I love about it. Like, you get one thing wrong, and like the car runs like crap, right? So, yeah.
What are you driving right now?
It's a X-Ray NT1. So, yeah.
Now, how about the actual driving part of it? Are you good at it? Are you
No.
Is it okay? So, is it harder than BattleBots, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I think The difference in driving, it's very sort of similar. In consistency is so important in RC racing, right? Like you make one mistake, it doesn't matter how fast you're going for the rest of the race. If you go off the track or something, like you just lose all of that. So I think, consistency transfers across them both. Something I'm not very good at in RC racing. I just want to go fast. So I'm trying to teach myself that a bit better. And then in fighting robots, same thing. One mistake and your match can be over and your robot's destroyed. So I think, it's just staying cool and calm and being super consistent is the main thing between them. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's pretty cool that you that you race. Like you do RC, a whole different genre of RC that I never even thought I'd be talking to somebody about. But we have to talk about this stuff because it all goes hand in hand. Like you have what we want and you have something and we have something that you guys want. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's pretty amazing that even happens. You should check out some off-road racing. I should get Mark to get a hold of you so you can check that out. I think you would fall in love with that.
Maybe I've never given it a go, but I know there's some tracks up in Auckland, and maybe I'll go have to check them out. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna send you the links to RCGP. Man, what people are doing with these cars
Please do it. Yeah,
is amazing. Like you got people out here whipping, scrubbing, like all this stuff in the air. It's 3D, truly. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Okay, so when does the next season of BattleBots start?
We're not sure yet. We generally don't get a new season until the last one's finished airing, and we only just finished airing a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully in the next month or so, we'll get a green light from Discovery again. But I mean, we're looking promising for August sort of time frame, August, September. I think we'll be filming it. So sort of later in the year, hopefully it'll start airing. Yeah. So
you guys will just be preparing your bot. Will you do any matches between now and then, you think, or?
Yeah, no, we won't be doing any practice. There's no one to fight against in New Zealand anyway. But also we don't have an arena that's safe enough. So we'll be fighting big hunks of steel and trying to break ourselves on that. Yeah.
Okay. How do you how do you practice that at all?
Yeah. So we go out to like an abandoned building site. We take in-game out there. We have a 130 kilogram block of steel that we put on the ground, and then we go stand about 200 meters away and we push it around and spin the weapon up and hit it and try and break it. Because, if we can't hit something that's not trying to kill us and not break, then there's no way we're going to beat another robot. So you'd be surprised at how often the block of steel beats us. We learn so much just from doing that. Yeah.
What do you think will be the next advancement? Can you see FPV coming into this at any time or anything like that?
Ooh. I don't know. I think it's in the current sort of setup. I don't think FPV is gonna make a run because you get such a good view just from where you are. But I think if they wanted to do it, they could do something really cool with it. Like if you weren't actually able to see the arena from where you're driving from, I think that would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. AI is coming in a little bit. There's one robot that automatically fires its hammer when it's on target, so that's really cool. Little things like that. Yeah. It's hard to say what the next big advancement will be, though. I wish I knew. If I did, I'd be in on it. Yeah.
All right. So you said you have a gyroscope or something like that in it. What is that? Like are we talking about like a gyro? What we think in RC, which helps you drive, or just keeps you balanced?
Yeah. I think what I mean by that is when the weapon's spinning so fast, and you try to turn, there's the forces of it, like on a bicycle, trying to keep it up, so it makes the robot flip. Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have any gyroscope like you would in RC. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't have it either, but I know like people like ready to runs come with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty.
Keep you driving straight, right?
Yeah. I actually there's a whole big, we had at the last Worlds, they accused the world champion, he's from Italy. They accused him of running one. They searched his car.
Oh, really?
Stuff. Oh man, it's been a mess. But I actually think it goes against what RC drivers do because they do so many things that are counteractive to going straight. You know what I mean? To make the cars go.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, if you're the world champion, you should be able to drive straight. So.
Oh man, exactly. So, but the way you send your car, sometimes you don't. It would make it go the other way. You know what I mean? To try and ride it.
Yeah.
So we actually been threatening to do some testing on this. But I just think that this young man is just extremely talented, and he's one of the rare guys that actually uses a stick radio because a lot of European guys use.
Oh, he uses a stick, does he?
Yeah. It's the only the Europeans and maybe like some of the Asian guys use stick radios. But
how would you go about testing that? Would you like do one person with a gyro, one without, and sort of see?
Well,
or?
yeah, like Joseph has been threatening to do a video of it and just see if it works.
Yeah.
But I just think like the way we drive these cars, like when you're whipping
Especially
a car,
off-road, right? They're all over the place. Yeah.
yeah, when you're whipping it like that to turn into that corner, the driver's gonna try and force you back that way. I think it's gonna be counterproductive. But we have to.
And you guys actually use the gyro forces to keep you level in the air. So right?
So you turn that way, you whip like front brakes, acceleration, man. What they're doing with these cars.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the air. Yeah.
These guys are super talented, man. Super talented drivers. I'm gonna send you the video so you can check it out.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been a great chat. I have learned something new. I want to now go see one of these things in real life. I love this is like what honestly what you guys have, the showmanship, the charisma, the crowds, spectators, and all that. This is what I'm pushing for. And I'm doing
dude, it would be so awesome to see like an RC race with that sort of production level way. Like I think it would work so well. Yeah.
Well, what it is, our big thing with RC is we qualify too much, too many, too long. It's boring, and then the way we race, we need what you guys have. We need people catering to spectators. We need to have we have professional racers in RC, but we need to actually have them be professional to an extent. And this is like all the stuff that I'm preaching and we're preaching on this podcast and trying to get through to people.
Yeah.
And you guys have it, but I think where you guys are lacking, we have professional guys that actually make a living doing this. You know what I mean?
No, that's where we need to be. Right. Yeah, we need to learn from you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then again, we're not on TV, so it's like wow, like. But I understand.
So we must be doing it real wrong. Yeah.
But I understand why you guys are on TV because it's exciting. Yeah. It's Gladiator. It's a production. And we're not used to that. We don't have a product in RC to put on television. Now, like I said, the links that I'm going to show you, we have done that. But not, like getting anything on television is extremely hard.
It is. So, yeah.
And
I'm so excited to see.
Yeah, it's the biggest question I get. Why can't we get RC on TV? Well, because it's not interesting to non-RC people. We need to make it interesting, and we need to have characters, and we need to have charisma, not guys in black hoodies. That like I always have the joke that we look like a satanic cult or underground dog fighting.
No. Or the drivers on the driver's stand.
Yeah, everyone's got a black hoodie, everybody's got the name on the back, and it's just it's no charisma, or it's honestly something that we're desperately missing in our industry. I'm gonna talk to Mark. I don't know what part of New Zealand he's in, but I want you to see some off-road stuff. I mean, how long you're gonna be there for a bit? So
I'm gonna be living here now. So
all right. Yeah, so Mark and
good to get connected with him.
Yeah, and then I think you're gonna love that. Like, and it's hard. Like, it's hard stuff. But you get an e-buggy, and the e-buggy is really popular, and it's so much power, and it's so much easier than nitro. But nitro is the glory, and that's where you really learn.
Yeah, I like the tinkering bit of it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, now in our industry now nobody wants to tinker no more. You know what I mean? So everything is like, I can buy this and I can do this and I want everything to fit nice and perfect. And
I'm sure at the pointy end, people must be tinkering still, right? To get the little bits of extra out.
Yes. Yeah. There's still hobbyists out there, but a lot is now about just buying as much as we can and putting it on. Everything's supposed to be fitting right and stuff like that. So it's different. Dude, well, it sounds like somebody's drumming back there in your
I don't know what's going on there. Sorry about that.
All right, no worries, man. But before we go, let's let people know where they can find out more about this, where they can follow you guys, Endgame, and all that stuff, please.
Yeah, if you want to follow us, our Instagram's Endgame_BattleBot. You can also find us on Facebook if you just search Endgame BattleBot. Or if you want to know more about the show, battlebots.com. You'll be able to see all the robots there, all the teams. And otherwise, find the YouTube channels, find it on Discovery Plus. Basically anywhere you can watch it is good. Yeah. And shout out to, I guess, some of your sponsors, your teammates, and I don't know, man, talk some smack to the other teams out there. Maybe they might see this. Shout out to our sponsors. University of Auckland, Tunnel and Civil, Steelmasters, Reynolds, all of you guys have been absolutely critical in getting us, our giant nut, and also just getting us to the event every year. So, yeah, without them, big thanks to them. And sorry?
No, I'm just thinking. I'll tell you afterwards, and after you finish.
Okay. And also, shout out to my team. You guys are awesome. Best team I could ask for. So excited to see what happens this year when we go back. And if the Australian team are listening, we're going to come back for that win. You guys kicked our asses last time, but we're going to get you next time. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. Do you guys have like intro music and all that stuff when you come in and all that there?
Yeah.
Oh man. I love
we have a bit of a rivalry with the Australian team. We beat them in the smaller weight classes, and then they beat us last year at BattleBot. So we got to go back and see who actually wins.
What's their team called? Sorry?
Death Roll.
Death
the
Roll.
Crocodile. Yeah.
Wow.
Death Roll.
Yeah.
Like,
the crocodile. Yeah. That's cool. I like
that good builders. So be keen to give them a smack around. Yeah.
I'm excited. I want to learn more about this stuff. So I'm going to be messaging you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Anytime, man. Yeah.
You know what, Jack? Thank you for your time. This has been, I love learning about something new, and especially if it's RC related. And man, thank you for your time. And I'm going to be following this a lot more. And if you guys want to follow Jack, find Endgame, get on Instagram, get on Facebook. I mean, everything's there for you guys. I'll put the links in the written description of this podcast as well. And dude, thank you for your time. And I'm gonna get Mark to see where you're at and see if we can get you doing some off-road. I didn't realize you was in New Zealand. It's probably like 10 o'clock there right now, isn't it?
It's about midday, so good to go. Yeah.
Oh no, it's nighttime here. Yeah, I'm reversed. I actually have to interview another guy from Australia in RC cars. So
okay. Yeah.
I'm kind of just he's on the East Coast. Yeah, East Coast.
Oh yeah. So he's about 3 hours behind us then, I think. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time. I look
thanks for having
forward to
me.
seeing more about BattleBots, and let's get you doing some off-road racing, I think. So
keen to give it a go.
Cool. Thank you, man. Have a good day, and thanks.
Yeah, cheers.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Yes, the JQ Racing Rant is back. We don't have a really big rant this week. It's just something small. But, put those big boy pants on and get ready because we're about to go on a roller coaster ride of emotions here. And JQ, I didn't really touch on this when we was doing our PNB coverage, but I do have one gripe. And I've heard it from a few people as well that I've talked to. And I just wanted to go over something because we gave a lot of credit to Live RC for what they did at DNC, and I was super excited to see them go to PNB. So I'm thinking, all right, we're going to have the same amount of coverage and value that we got at DNC at PNB. In fact, Dave upped the entry price of PNB to $100, $10 more, because Live RC was coming there and they had Scotty and all that type of stuff and whatnot. So look, before I go on any further, I don't know what happened or what's going on. It was definitely better coverage than previous years because this is the first time Live RC's ever been there. But I just kind of wanted more. I was kind of expecting we would see like DNC coverage, like going out there, getting, recording the atmosphere, going into the pits with people, stuff like that. Maybe having the overlays of the pro drivers up and stuff like how they did it for DNC. And I also wanted a camera on the other side of the stadium, like at least it was like they had all the cameras on one side, like the two main cameras on, where they usually had the old camera on the. If you're looking at the driver's stand from here, the camera was on the left. They had one on the left, they had one on the right, and they had the sliding camera on the middle, which I thought was cool. But I'm wondering why they didn't put cameras on the other side. Maybe it was, look, we all know when you get for the first time you get to a place, you don't know what you're dealing with till you get there. We experienced it at RCGP. I'm sure Live RC's experienced it a bit. But I'm appreciative, and I like that we had better coverage, trust me. But I just think like it was not as good as DNC, and I'm wondering why. Maybe they didn't go, maybe they have different levels of coverage as well. maybe that level of coverage requires more manpower as well. I believe they had 7 guys there, but maybe they need to have a graphics guy there or whatever to do that type of stuff. So I'm wondering what happened. And yeah, I hope they upped their game even more. We said, they did a good job at DNC, but it just wasn't the same. It just didn't feel the same to me. Scotty went on an interview. Maybe also it's just way bigger than Thunder Alley too. That arena is pretty much the size of Thunder Alley, I would say, when you factor in the seats and all that stuff. But it just didn't seem the same. Yeah, huh?
The arena is way bigger, you said, or what?
It's bigger than the whole area of Thunder Alley, like where we raced.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Alley is not really that big track. It's, it's a little easier. So I'm thinking maybe they ran into some technical troubles and couldn't have as many cameras. They had cameras. They had normal cameras, but I was just suspecting.
Did they have a moving camera for qualifying?
Yes.
They did?
Yes. But it's just they had the 2 cameras, on this side and this side. Why couldn't we get a camera over her or her, on the other side of the track? Maybe I missed it. I liked the 2 in play. Like they had 2 screens going at one point. I like some of the camera angles, but it just didn't seem as good as it was at DNC. They put all that extra in DNC, like, the driver profiles and all that type of stuff. And
yeah, I know. There was none of that really, which is a shame. But also, I always find myself thinking when I watch this broadcast that if you zoom in just a bit, not all the way to the card and not all the way like far away seeing everything. Like zoom in a bit on the lane that you're focused on and then focus the damn thing. And then follow the car.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's hard to do, but I've seen coverage where they do that. So I know it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this was my job, then I would focus on that. Like, let's make this watchable.
Also, I want to say, yeah, I was like, yeah, they're going to go to this race and they're going to do better than what they did at DNC. And I don't think they did. Like, I think they went on. And this is no jab at Live RC or anything like that. I'm also thinking maybe it was like less staff, or maybe they were only required to do a certain level of coverage too, which I understand that, because people got to understand, like, this costs money. You know what I mean? To get all these people.
But he increased the entry fee, you said.
He did, and that's what I've had a few people. Yeah, I've had a few people say this to me, like, he charged $10 more, and see, also what I think what it is, people don't understand. Like, people were excited about Live RC being there, but Live RC is not there for the people that are racing. You never heard Scotty. You never heard any of these guys. But it would have been nice to do the driver profiles. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Or maybe Dave was doing that on his own. But I like to see what's going on in the pits. And we got to see a bit.
Did they ever show the whole sort of everything that was going on there?
No.
See, okay, let's get into this. So when they just upload an 8-hour-long thing on YouTube, who's going to scroll through that and find the 5-minute section?
Hold on for a second.
So, go on.
Okay. No, I actually, I pay my membership to Live RC $5 a month, and you get the individual races.
Oh, that's how you get them?
Yeah.
Are they on YouTube?
No, because they're right there in their wherever the race is, whatever main it is, it has the video there.
Oh, so you have to scroll individually to that still. Well, what if it's not a race? What if it's just a feature or something? Or a pit walkabout?
No, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point. So if not upload those separately, then at least sort of put timestamps in the videos. That would be good, I think. Timestamps, anyone can do that. And then maybe the biggest thing for me was, I watched the main. I think it was decent. You kind of knew what was going on. But if you have a joker lane,
yes,
and you know that your system can handle a joker lane because you also wrote the software for the lap counting, then can you figure out a way so that the timing, or at least if not the public timing for spectators, but the announcers know what's going on? Because I was in Finland watching the race, and I knew that Tessman had one left, and I also knew how long it took, and I knew that he was going to win the race, right? unless he made a mistake.
Well, you're
And
just
it
special
seems like
that.
the announcers didn't know that until like halfway into the last lap or something. Wasn't it the case? Like
Yeah,
then
because
they
we was watching the
figured
race
it
at the
out.
same
Like,
time.
oh yeah, like he's leading now, or it's a race to the line. Where was that? What class was that?
That was pro. I think it was it Truggy we was watching or Buggy we was watching? Because we was kind
I
of
don't
talking
know,
to each
but
other.
one of the races anyway. It was just because they didn't know about.
It was Truggy. It was Truggy.
Yeah, because they didn't know about that. What is it called again?
Joker
Lane. Then they didn't announce the race in a way where they could have built it up to be this exciting thing and sort of been on it all the time.
Right. So you are very much more in brainiac when it comes to this type of stuff. So you could follow it. I was completely lost. I was relying on the
exactly.
announcers.
So,
now, just to say something, they do have on the scoring in like the live scoring, they have where the Joker lane, but it's three Joker lanes. So I was thinking it would be so great if you could even on the scoring on the live thing, like each driver. So you have 3 Joker lanes, just put one, so you know which driver's done. If it's 3, okay, he's done 1, he's done 2, so you can see which ones and who's got things left. That's what I would like to see, and that would help the announcers eat too as well, because they're trying to call the race and then
the guys in the
who's,
pits and everyone, so they know.
I think that would just, they do have it, but it's just one graphic, but I'm talking about for the viewer, for myself. I was lost, and then I know these guys, like, oh, we don't know who's got a Joker lane. It's like, I understand why they were lost as well.
Yeah, if you're going to use a Joker lane, then you need to make it so sort of that full the viewers can get the full effect and enjoyment of it, not it be this random thing like no one knows anything until it finishes.
Yeah. That made it very hard for me to follow personally. You're much more quick-witted and stuff like that with that type of stuff. So you can tell lap times and all that type of stuff. But for me, like, I'm just the average guy. Like, if I can't figure it out, then the average person that's dropping onto it couldn't figure it out. I like the concept. I like the Joker lane. I like all that type of stuff. But I just would have liked to have seen an indicator on the scoring more than just one, because they had one Joker. Like, but you don't know how many they got left, or maybe I can't remember. I have to go watch it again. But on the screen, it's possible. You can even just put a line. Well, I wouldn't do a line, but just a small little Joker, like, so or dots, like dun dun dun, 3 dots done. Or this person's done all their Joker. Otherwise than that, I think they did a good job. I just don't think they did as good of a job as they did for DNC. I know Hooks was racing too, so it's kind of like. That's my only disappointment, man. You're coming over to the biggest race on the East Coast, and I just would have liked to have seen more atmosphere and stuff like that. But I understand that this is a big place they're at, and everybody was kind of spread out. It's different. If it would have been like how usually where people are pitting inside, probably would have been different as well. But it just seems like the coverage was just not on par as it was with DNC. So, and I'm not like, I'm happy that I had it. Don't get me wrong. It was better than what it's been for many years because they got them in there. So I hope when they go to the next race, which I think is Wicked Weekend or maybe AMS, I think it's Wicked Weekend, that they up the for the RaceTime events, and they're going to do all of the SRS events on the East Coast. I hope they do it the same way that they did it for DNC. That's all. That's all I want, because I thought they did a good job at DNC. Kudos to you, Live RC, but please, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but I just wanted a bit more, and definitely get that Joker lane thing fixed. But it's not many other races that have Joker lanes. That was about it. Not a serious rant. I just felt like it was a little lacking, but that could have been done to other circumstances. Maybe they only provided this much for this amount of money. You're going to get this so much coverage. Because doing all that graphics and other stuff and driver intros, that takes a whole like another crew to even do that. We know that from RCGP. But otherwise than that, I enjoyed it, and I think people enjoyed it. But people were asking, we paid $10. Where's the coverage? But people got to understand, the $10 isn't for you guys at the race. It's for people viewing the race. Like, you never really interact with the Live RC guys, unless they're coming up and interviewing you. So good. That was one of my thoughts. I think that's it. You have anything else to talk about, Josie?
Nope.
All right, Beaker Dunn, thank you for coming on. I know you're busy. Get back to working. Thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to all the patrons. Hey, can't do it without you guys as well. Thank you to Jack Barker for coming on and talking about BattleBots. Thank you, Joseph, for your time. And thank you to all the awesome sponsors around that support us. They are Mayako, TNR, High Tech, SCRC, Tekno RC, Manscaped.com, Lugz, Beach RC, JQ Racing, RCGP, Racecraft, JQ Threads, Wally Builds, Papa Willie's, RCMX, and House of RC. Don't forget to go and fill out your profile at House of RC. And also, remember what Max and I talked about fixing Raw? Well, yeah. Please, if you want to fix Raw, go out there, become a member. We have a plan. It's going to be starting getting unraveled here in a bit. If you want to run for remember, the even regions are getting voted in next year. If you're in an even region and you're thinking about running and you want to make some change in Raw, hit us up. We're looking for people that want to get into Raw and make changes and do things. And also as racers, what we can do is become members and get our voices heard and vote in people that want to make change and do things different for Raw. So remember that. If you don't want to hear more about that spiel, go back to episode number 120. Josie, I'm out. See you later.
See ya.
And you know what, everybody? If you ain't, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding. And hard work beats talent, man. Talent doesn't work hard. Lefty and Beaker, out.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
is so bad.